Side kick. We going into another blazing charge. No, we are not
screen.
enhancing it, right? It is just there because we
up,
can't
though?
put the same move on the screen more than once, right? But I mean, you can enhance it. It will give you more damage, but it is not needed for this combo to work, right? Just like that from the spear. Now, when you are practicing this combo, you will need to let them drop just a bit after you do that raising hell, because if you don't, that blazing charge will not connect, but only when you are in the practice mode, right? But when you are doing a full combo, it will work without you having to let them drop, right? Now let's go from that side kick. Just like that now from raising hell 2 times. Absolutely beautiful now from that blazing charge.
What's happening, dog?
Just like that. Okay, now from inner pain. Absolutely beautiful. Let's look at that one more time.
Oh, Darnell in here.
Now, let's keep it moving. Okay, so after that blazing charge, we want to hit him with another close back breaker.
Yeah.
Okay, so after that second blazing charge, we want to hit him with another back breaker. Close or far, it won't really matter, right? Going to look just like that now from that side kick. That second side kick. Just like that now from that third raising heel. Just like that from the spear. Absolutely beautiful from the first side kick. From the double raising heel. Absolutely beautiful now from that blazing charge. Absolutely beautiful now from inner pain. $440 already. Let's look at that one more time. Now, let's keep it moving. Okay, so we're going to end this combo off with Enhanced Devouring Flame, the back forward 4. And to enhance the move, just press your block button at the exact same time that you press the attack button, right? Now, once again, we cannot go from that back breaker because your opponent must be in the air. So we must go from that blazing charge. Going to look just like that right now. Let's go from that second side kick. Just like that. Okay, now from that third raising heel. Absolutely beautiful from the spear. Now with the Devouring Flame, it won't be this quick when you are doing the combo, right? Scorpion is going to take his precious little time. You see how he turns around after he pulls that rope? He's going to take his precious little time turning back around. So wait for him to turn the back around and then do the Devouring Flame. You will have time. It will work now from that first side kick. Absolutely beautiful now from raising hell 2 times. Absolutely beautiful. Okay, now from Blazing Charge, the first one.
Man, what up, dude? Yes, sir.
Absolutely. See how it takes Scorpion so long to turn all the way around? Okay, now let's do the entire combo from Inner Pain all the way down to Devouring Flame. Let's do this. $500 damage and it's still ticking, still ticking. Only using one bar of meteor with Scorpion and Jax. Let's look at that one more time.
No sooner had Titan Shang Tsung been defeated than Bihan and his loyalists hunted us down. Outnumbered, we fled to Japan. There, we sought refuge from an old family friend. As children, we played together.
I got my.
But
I got my
Harumi
helicopter.
Shirai was a woman now, the head of her clan. Her strength,
gonna be good for
beauty,
you, folks.
and intellect awed me.
Let's get it.
Also incensed by Bihan's
It's all
betrayal,
good. It's all good.
Harumi
I'm about
agreed to
call
help
it
me
another.
forge a new clan, one that would stand against him and defend
Somebody
Earthrealm.
watch the nigga back.
Her aid proved invaluable, and as time went on, we grew closer. To honor Harumi and pay respects to my new bride, I named the clan after her, calling it
Oh,
the
yes.
Shirai Ryu. Now the battle against my brother begins in earnest. The Shirai Ryu won't rest until Bihan is defeated and the Lin Kuei's honor restored.
I like it too, baby.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats, dogs, and frogs, my name is Darius P, and welcome back to another Mortal Kombat 1 combo tutorial. We rocking with Noob, Saibot, and Scorpion in this one. Let's get to it. We starting off with Night Rain, the 2-1-2. Looks just like that. Let's keep it moving. Okay, so after Night Rain, we going into the Enhanced Shadow Tackle, the back 4-3. Going to look just like that, and to enhance the move,
It's
you just
fun,
press
right?
your block button at the exact same time that you press the attack button. Right now, let's go from Night Rain into the Shadow Tackle. Just like that. Let's look at that one more time. Missed it down too. Let's keep it moving. Okay, so after the Shadow Tackle, we going into Saibot Dervish, the jump 2-3-4. Going to look just like that. Now let's go from the Enhanced Shadow Tackle into the Saibot Dervish. Going to look just like that. Now right after you do the inputs for the Shadow Tackle, start holding up, right? Immediately, right now, I'm holding up.
way.
Why? Because I want to jump as quickly as possible to make sure I don't miss the Saibot Dervish. Also, you want to make sure you are jumping straight in the air and not forwards or backwards, right? Going to look just like that now from Night Rain. Let's look at that one more time. Now, let's keep it moving. Okay, so after Saibot Dervish, we going into the Black Mace, the 4-4.
Man, classic, right?
Very, very easy right now. Let's go from Saibot Dervish. Just like that. Now from the Enhanced Shadow Tackle. Very, very easy. Now from the Night Rain. Already at 300? Come on. Let's look at that one more time. Let's keep it moving. Okay, so after Black Mace, we want to hit him with the Telly Slam by pressing down, up. Very, very simple, very, very easy now from Black Mace. Just like that now from Side by Dervish. Very, very easy now from the enhanced Shadow Tackle. Okay, now from Night Ring. Very, very easy. Let's look at that one more time. Now, let's keep it moving. Okay, so after Teleslam, we going into Fire Breath Scorpion's Up cameo move. But don't worry, we will not be jumping during this combo, right? Now let's go from Teleslam into the Fire Breath. One, two, look just like that. So there's me. When do we press it? You press it right when you see Noob disappear in the sky. You see, when you're doing the Teleslam, you see how he goes up. Once you see him go up out of the sky, going up, that is when you press up and your cameo button. Going to look just like that now from Side by Dervish. Just like that now from the enhanced Shadow Tackle.
Nice little
okay, now let's go from Night Ring. Just like that. Let's look at that one more time. Now, let's keep it moving. So after Fire Breath, we want to hit him with Wraith Kicks to jump 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, look just like that. And once again, during the Wraith Kicks, you want to jump straight up in the air. Don't jump forward or backwards, jump straight up right now. Let's go. We have to go from that Teleslam. 1, 2, look just like that now from Black Mace. Okay, now let's go from that Side by Dervish. Just like that. Okay, now from that enhanced Shadow Tackle. Just like that. Okay, now from Night Ring. Absolutely beautiful already at 400. Let's look at that one more time. Now, let's keep it moving. Okay, so after the Wraith Kicks, we want to hit him with another Teleslam, but this time in the air, right? So just while you're in the air,
download this shit.
Just press your down and up once again. Now let's go from the Wraith Kicks. 1, 2, look just like that. Now from the first Teleslam. Just like that. Okay, now from Black Mace.
It's a single shot.
Absolutely beautiful. Okay, now from that Side by Dervish. Okay, now let's go from that enhanced Shadow Tackle.
That was a good kill.
373 from that. Okay, now let's go from that Night Ring. Absolutely beautiful. Let's look at that one more time. Now, let's keep it moving. Okay, so for the rest of this combo, the moves will be on the other side of the screen above the other noob sidebot. And after that air Teleslam, we're going into another Fire Breath. Going to look just like that, but without the down two, right? Now let's go from those Wraith kicks. Just like that. Okay, now let's go from the first teleslam. Going to look just like that. Okay, now from Black Mace. Going to look just like that. Okay, now from that side bot dervish. Absolutely beautiful. Okay, now from the enhanced shadow tackle. Just like that. Okay, now from Night Ring.
Shit out of these niggas.
423 already. Let's look at that one more time. Now, let's keep it moving. Okay, so after that second far fire breath, we're going into another Wraith kicks, another 1, 2, 3, 4.
I just called the watchdog game.
Going to look just like that now from that second, the air teleslam. Going to look just like that, but this time you do want to jump forward before when you're doing that second Wraith kicks. You want to jump forward this time. You don't want to jump straight up in the air. Now from that first teleslam. Going to look just like that. Okay, now from Black Mace. Absolutely beautiful. Now from that side bot dervish. Just like that. Okay, now from that enhanced shadow tackle.
You killing these niggas.
Okay, now let's go from that's already a 404. Let's go from Night Ring. $441 already. Let's look at that one more time. Now, let's keep it moving. Okay, so we're gonna end this combo off with another air teleslam. So we're going far fire breath, Wraith kicks, air teleslam. Far fire breath, Wraith kicks, air teleslam. Let's go from that second Wraith kick. Going to look just like that now from the first teleslam.
Really going off, man. This gonna be some good content.
Absolutely beautiful now from the first Wraith kicks. Just like that. Okay, now from that first, the actual first on the ground teleslam. Just like that. Okay, now from that Black Mace. Just like that. Okay, now let's go from that side bot dervish. Absolutely beautiful. Okay, now from that enhanced shadow tackle. Okay, now let's do the entire combo from the Night Rain all the way down to that last Teller Slam. Let's do this. .46 with Noob, Sabat, and Scorpion using only 1 bar of meter.
Air.
Let's look at that one more time.
That nigga, he's kicking, what? Yeah.
My name is Darius P. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you enjoyed the video and would like to watch another one right now, you can do so by clicking on any one of the 4 boxes that you see on your screen right now. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications by hitting that bell so you can be notified whenever I upload a new video.
Well, it's combat time!
Mortal Kombat!
Mortal Kombat! Hello everybody, it is I, the Great Clement, and I'm back once again to be your lore guy, to assemble the puzzles that make up fighting game stories. This time, I've chosen to look at Mortal Kombat, one of the more prolific and controversial entries. Partly responsible for creating the ESRB, MK has always been known for its hardcore violence. People getting their hearts ripped out, their heads punched off, getting knocked into pits.
Finish him.
And all of this gore would only increase with each subsequent entry. It's the franchise's most defining aspect, the key feature that makes it Mortal Kombat. But personally, I've always felt it has one extra thing going for it. And believe it or not, it's the storytelling. Oh sure, on a mechanical level, the franchise was like any other. You took on a row of computer opponents, faced the big bad, and got treated to a text-based ending. But unlike other fighters, MK always put its lore into the attract mode. When no one was playing it at the arcade, you would be treated to an explanation as to who Goro is. You'd learn who canonically defeated Shang Tsung, whether a character had been horribly killed in the previous game. This kind of information was usually relegated to instruction manuals if you were lucky. I play King of Fighters, and I couldn't tell you why Iori is an edgelord who ties his legs together. But Scorpion? I knew he was a specter from hell who wanted revenge on Sub-Zero. Mortal Kombat wanted you to know these characters to the point that they'd create wacky spin-offs with live-action cutscenes.
I am a dead man, but somehow you have retained your mortality, which would mean you are vulnerable to death.
Or they'd create specialized endings.
The Black Dragon died with Kano. You're the last one, Jarek.
Never!
In Mortal Kombat Deception, they bothered to make a full-on adventure mode where you explore all the realms and learn every character's fighting style. This predates Street Fighter VI by over 19 years.
Oh, my balls!
But by far, the series' biggest contribution, and the thing that NetherRealm Studios is most known for, is the dedicated story mode. When most fighting games were still doing the bare minimum with arcade endings, Mortal Kombat was making full-on movies. Stuff that featured fun choreography, proper action scenes, twists and turns that genuinely grabbed your attention in a major way. They really raised the bar, to the point that other fighters had to follow suit just to keep up. And their storytelling game is still on point, as in addition to the story modes, they keep doing arcade endings as well as personalized conversations for every single matchup. If you ever wondered what Melina would say to Raiden, or what Johnny Cage would say to Reptile, this series has got you covered.
You own leather made from reptiles. What? Yeah, it's not like I skinned your cousin Vinny.
So if the storytelling is so damn good, then what's the point of this video? Well, you see, Mortal Kombat's been around since 1992. It's had a ridiculous amount of entries, over 11 in fact, and the majority of them have never been re-released. Video game preservation is a fickle mistress. Sometimes you can buy a collection of all the old Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles games, and other times emulation is your only option. Because you're sure as hell not playing Deadly Alliance on the PlayStation 5. And you know, that wouldn't be so bad if this series wasn't so self-referential.
Your jailers want you returned.
Orin and Caro live?
Who the hell are Orin and Caro? Well, okay, I know who Caro is, but still! This series has a ridiculous number of characters, and after a while the storyline gets so bonkers that there needs to be a reset. Soft reboots that wipe the slate clean, and yet are still attached to the past. Sure, you can look all of this up in a wiki, but that takes time. And wouldn't you rather watch a 2-hour video about it? Hey, a lot of you asked for this, and I'm more than happy to deliver. I was looking for an excuse to go back to all of the 6th Gen 3D entries, and boy, I wasn't disappointed. This is a series with ninjas and gods and cyborgs and parallel worlds and clones and necromancy and the apocalypse and time travel. A story where every single character has died at least once. It gets pretty insane. And more so than either Tekken or Street Fighter, there is a lot to cover. So, let's just jump into it. This is the insane lore of Mortal Kombat. So, Mortal Kombat takes place in a multiverse of sorts where numerous parallel worlds take place. The one we're familiar with is Earthrealm. This is where you're going to see New York City, Australia, the Himalayan mountains, etc., etc. But what most people don't know is that the rules of nature are all guided by the Elder Gods, ancient celestial beings that have the power to smite anyone who would upset the balance of the universe. Something they never have to do, as they mostly sit around in their heavenly chambers while lesser gods do all the work. One of which is the Thunder God Raiden. He is tasked with being the protector of Earthrealm, always needing to step in when things get too crazy. And he always does so while wearing a fancy bamboo hat. Also, he's great at screaming gibberish. Raiden certainly got his work cut out for him, especially when one of the Elder Gods decides that they're tired of this meaningless existence and wants more. This man's name is Shinnok, and using his godlike power, he creates a special amulet that allows him to enter Earthrealm without defying the Elder God's rules concerning invasion. How the hell does that work? He wages a war against Raiden that lasts for centuries and wipes out many civilizations, and the Elder Gods don't intervene at all. What, this doesn't threaten the balance of the universe? The battle is so devastating that it wipes out the dinosaurs, as well as some humanoid reptilians that your history books won't tell you about. These saurian creatures are so devastated by this war that they have to flee Earthrealm for the much safer world of Zaterra. There's a long age of darkness, but eventually Raiden comes out on top. He defeats Shinnok, takes away his powerful amulet, and then brings him before the Elder Gods for judgment. They decide the best sentence for Shinnok is to spend the rest of his life in the Netherrealm. This is another place you're probably familiar with because it's basically hell. Fire, brimstone, endless torture and suffering. If someone dies with an evil or corrupted soul, they're coming here. The place is ruled by Lucifer, who uses his demons and Oni to make Shinnok's life an absolute nightmare. Things were going pretty bad for the fallen Elder God until he met up with Quan Chi, a powerful sorcerer who really needs to spend more time in the sun. This warlock offers to help Shinnok conquer the realm with his undead army if the Elder God will share the wealth and make him his second in command. Shinnok obviously accepts, and he successfully kills Lucifer. With the Netherrealm in his control, he decides to model the world closer to the place he really wanted to conquer, Earthrealm. So for example, the demon Serena used to look like this, and now she looks closer to this. Of course, you can only do so much with a dead world. Shinnok will never get the beauty and luxury he truly desires, as without his amulet, he can never escape to other realms. Unlike another evil bastard. Let's talk about Shao Kahn. Another realm in this universe is Outworld. It's kinda like Earthrealm, but definitely behind in the times. No fancy technology, lots of barbaric practices. It's a primitive place where might makes right. This place used to be ruled by Onaga, the fearsome Dragon King. Unfortunately for him, his most trusted advisor managed to poison the dude and steal the throne for himself. That advisor was Shao Kahn. And while using poison is certainly a sneaky tactic, this warlord is anything but a coward. He is absurdly powerful. Proficient in dark magic and brandishing a big fuck-off hammer, Shao Kahn actively welcomes combat and has proven himself to be quite the champion.
Don't make me laugh. Fight. That was pathetic.
I don't think he's technically human, as the guy has a lot of dragon-like features. But regardless of how this dude is built, no one can defeat him, and he conquers Outworld with an iron fist. He builds an army of loyal soldiers who punish and enslave the weak. If you can't prove your worth to him, you're as good as dead. But all that power gets boring after a while, and our warlord decides that his conquest can extend even further. Like I said, this is a universe of many parallel worlds, and using sorcery, Shao Kahn learns how to unbalance the Furies and merge other realms with his own. The Elder Gods don't appreciate this, and so they give each world a fighting chance by invoking the Mortal Kombat tournament. 'Cause, you know, this is a fighting game. In order to merge with another realm, Outworld must defeat their enemies in 10 consecutive martial arts competitions. And I do emphasize consecutive. If they win 9 straight victories and somehow fumble the bag at the very end, they have to start all over from scratch. And it's not like this tournament happens every year. Oh no, this only occurs once every generation. If Shao Kahn wants to conquer everything, he's in it for the long haul. But he does have one ace up his sleeve, a sorcerer named Shang Tsung. A former Earthrealmer, this guy studied dark magic and performed evil experiments in order to gain the secret of eternal youth. And what he discovers is the ability to steal other people's souls. He can rip out a person's life force and feed on it in order to revitalize his body. Plus, it makes him stronger.
Stealing my soul won't make you faster.
Actually, that is precisely how it works.
Shit.
This guy also picked up the art of shapeshifting, allowing him to transform into anyone he wants while retaining all of their impressive abilities. Having sucked up souls for thousands of years, Shang Tsung has become quite the martial artist as well as a master manipulator. He is easily Shao Kahn's second in command, the one responsible for so many of his schemes.
Your soul is mine.
And so, for thousands of years, using Shang Tsung and other deadly Outworld warriors, Shao Kahn proceeds to take over all that he can. He goes to Viternus, a realm of vampires, and conquers it. He goes to Arnyek, home of bug-like creatures known as the Kaitin, and conquers that. Even the poor Zaterans, who just escaped a centuries-long war over an Earthrealm, find themselves crushed under Shao Kahn's massive heel. To the point of genocide, as only 2 members of this race even exist anymore. Outworld becomes a melting pot of various species as the conquered realms all add up. But by far, Shao Kahn's greatest conquest lies with the realm of Edenia. A world of beauty and culture, this place was governed peacefully by King Jared and his queen Sindel, the two a loving couple who had a single child named Kitana. But try as they might, Edenia was unable to repel the Outworld invasion, and it ended in tragedy. Shao Kahn kills the king, takes Sindel to be his bride, and adopts her daughter to be his own. Having lost her husband, her realm, and her freedom, the queen gives into despair and eventually takes her own life. Kitana, now an orphan, is molded into becoming a deadly assassin by her warlord foster father. But luckily, she does have companionship in the form of her best friend Jade, as well as through Melina, her twin sister. Wait, twin sister? But Sindel only had one kid. Oh, don't worry, there's gonna be a fun explanation. Regardless, Shao Kahn is unstoppable, and there's only one place left that will make for a grand conquest. Earthrealm. In order to combat this threat, the Thunder God Raiden enlists the help of Earth's mightiest warriors. He even forms the White Lotus Society, a secretive Shaolin organization that dedicates its entire existence to training warriors for Mortal Kombat. And at first, it wasn't going that well. That is until a great monk known as Kung Lao entered the picture. Shang Tsung was unbeatable, his underhanded sorcery a massive roadblock for so many. But now the Outworlders would suffer their very first defeat, for Kung Lao manages to defeat Shang Tsung. He becomes the Mortal Kombat champion, thus resetting Outworld's score and undoing all of their accomplishments. Our hero becomes a legend to everybody, earning himself the moniker of the Great Kung Lao. Needless to say, Shao Kahn was not pleased. Shang Tsung would spend a good chunk of his time slaving in the cobalt mines for his failure. But eventually, the sorcerer comes across one of the strongest fighters he's ever encountered, Prince Goro. He is a member of the Shokan, a race that's half human and half dragon. And with that lineage, Goro is over 8 feet tall and possesses 4 different arms. He's not only built like friggin' Brock Lesnar, but he can also play keep away. By grabbing someone with one set of arms and slapping the shit out of them with the other, he's kind of OP. So when the next tournament rolls around, Shang Tsung enters Goro in to take on the champion.
Once the Shokan had Kung Lao firmly in his grasp, there was little Kung Lao could do.
I will take his warrior soul. Finish him.
Well, the great Kung Lao gave it the old college try, but no dice. Goro becomes the new champion, and the long process of conquering Earthrealm begins anew. For the next 500 years, Outworld would remain the dominant superpower until the 10th tournament. And that's the setup for the very first game in the series, Mortal Kombat 1. No, not that one, the original. Sorry, but this series has a lot of backstory. The conflict between Raiden and Shinnok was like millions of years ago, and Shao Kahn conquered Edenia over 10,000 years ago.
I'm sorry, you're 10,000 years old? Oh, talk about aging gracefully.
But yeah, with this 10th tournament, the stakes couldn't be higher. And so, Raiden has entrusted all of his hopes into a standout student of the Wuxi Academy, a training ground of the White Lotus Society. Enter Liu Kang, a Shaolin monk who was orphaned at a young age who has been training to be the Mortal Kombat champion his entire life. If any character is going to be the pure-hearted, altruistic Captain America Boy Scout, it's definitely this guy. Liu Kang was taught everything he knows by his master, bo6, who, fun fact, is actually from Outworld and not Earthrealm. See, he doesn't like living under the heel of Shao Kahn, but since he's technically an Outworlder, if he were to enter the tournament, it would be in favor of his worst enemy. So instead, he trains others in the hopes that they can protect their realms. bo6 is a practitioner of drunken boxing, a skill Liu Kang did not acquire. In fact, the only move of real significance he got from the guy is the flying kick. I guess Liu Kang didn't want to learn how to belly flop on people. Or how to puke on them. Or how to kill somebody by farting on them.
By farting? Are you kidding me?
Sadly, no. I am not kidding.
And people say Johnny Cage is the comic relief character. Inside the society, Liu Kang is best friends with another student who happens to be the descendant of the great Kung Lao. His name? Kung Lao. Using a razor hat which he can use to cut people in half, this guy wants to live up to his ancestor's name and become the new Mortal Kombat champion. And although he possesses great skill, it's also made him very arrogant and full of himself. As such, he was unable to defeat Liu Kang in the qualifying bouts, meaning he was not allowed to participate in the tournament. Instead, he would sneak inside dressed as one of the guards to make sure nothing bad happened.
You simply were not ready, Kung Lao.
What does Liu Kang have that I don't?
That you ask answers your question.
Also competing in the tournament is a man named Johnny Cage. Real name John Carlton, this man is not a Shaolin monk. Instead, he is a Hollywood actor who embraced martial arts. You might remember him from such films as Dragon Fist, Dragon Fist 2, Sudden Violence, 24 Karate Gold, Exiting the Dragon of Death, the Academy Award-winning Hurrah! Opposite Channy Jack.
Massive Strike, Citizen Cage, Ninja Mime. None of those ring a bell?
Being an A-list movie star, Johnny Cage definitely has a bit of an ego. He's in love with himself, he doesn't take a lot of things seriously. One might assume he's one of the weaker, more foolish characters.
I'm taking you out, I'm taking you out, and I'm taking you out for dinner.
Ugh.
But when push comes to shove, Johnny Cage is the real deal. Descending from an ancient Mediterranean cult that bred warriors for the gods, Johnny has a magical energy source inside of himself that gives him unreal power. He's entered the tournament to prove why he does his own stunts. Another person competing in the tournament is Kano, an Australian cutthroat for hire who leads his own mercenary group, the Black Dragon. These guys are criminal arms dealers who generally make the world a much shittier place for everybody. A group that has their own cyberneticists, which really come in handy when half your face gets blown off. Kano retrofitted the left side of his head to house a laser eye that really makes him look like the Terminator. The Black Dragon have earned the attention of the U.S. Special Forces, in particular Major Jackson Briggs and Lieutenant Sonya Blade, a woman who looks less like a soldier and more like she's ready to jazzercise to Richard Simmons. Regardless, Kano pretended to be an informant for the group, which only led to an ambush and disaster. Sonya will not stop until she's gotten her revenge.
Kano's still here somewhere.
Your obsession with him is gonna get you killed.
I trusted him.
Yeah, we all did.
One day, she and her squad chased Kano to a giant boat, which happened to be Shang Tsung's personal vessel. The guards on board subdued the special forces and gave Sonya an ultimatum. Compete in the tournament, or you and your teammates are all going to die. And finally, it wouldn't be Mortal Kombat if I didn't talk about two of the game's most popular characters, the colored ninjas Scorpion and Sub-Zero. In fact, in order to talk about the history these two guys have, I actually have to take a detour and talk about one of the game's spin-offs. Mortal Kombat Mythology Sub-Zero, a prequel that sets up Sub-Zero's backstory going into the tournament. In China, there is a league of assassins known as the Lin Kuei. These guys are basically mercenaries who will do anything sketchy if the price is right. Hell, most of the Lin Kuei recruits are all children who were abducted from their homes, trained from youth to be specialized killers. And I do mean special, as two children, brothers Bi-Han and Kuai Liang, are taught the art of cryomancy. This gives them the ability to spawn ice powers that can freeze anything. Kuai Liang was given the codename Tundra, while Bi-Han was given the moniker of Sub-Zero. The goofiest thing you could ever call a ninja.
Let's get something straight. I am not a ninja. I am Lin Kuei. Scorpion was a ninja.
Oh yeah, you guys are completely different. One wears yellow and the other wears blue. But in reality, one Lin Kuei member named Takeda did leave the group and go to Japan to spread the art of ninjutsu. It was then that he created the rival clan of the Shirai Ryu. These two factions friggin' hate each other, and Sub-Zero in particular has earned the ire of a man named Hanzo Hasashi, codename Scorpion. One day, the two warriors received the exact same mission on the exact same day, both breaking into a Shaolin temple to steal a special map. Naturally, it results in a confrontation, and this one has a very clear winner. Classic. Yep, Sub-Zero murders Scorpion in cold blood, retrieves the map for himself, and returns to claim the prize. It turns out this mission was orchestrated by the sorcerer Quan Chi. Shinnok's loyal buddy purposefully hired both factions not just to increase his chances, but also to lead Scorpion away so that he couldn't protect his clan.
Our ancient foes, vanquished in one transaction.
And I've personally made certain that every last remnant of their clan has been eliminated. Forever.
Well, hot damn! Talk about insult to injury. Anyway, Sub-Zero needed this map so he could find the Temple of the Ancients. Quan Chi figures that cryomancy is just the power needed to be able to retrieve the treasure inside. Only Sub-Zero could possibly face off against the 4 elemental gods that dwell within. Oh Christ, that's one hell of a request. You're basically asking for a Mortal Kombat champion to clean house. But amazingly, Sub-Zero is actually badass enough to pull it off. He faces off with the Earth God, the Water God, the Fire God, as well as the God of Wind Fujin, who will become the most relevant of the 4 Guardians. But he's successful! He gets through the traps and finally finds an amulet.
The amulet! I have Shinnok's amulet!
Whose amulet?
He is my deity, ruler of the Netherrealm, and soon destroyer of your Earth realm. Goodbye, ninja.
Why is he moping like he's Charlie Brown? Either way, Raiden shows up just a tad late to let Sub-Zero know he's made a gigantic mistake. Being the protector of Earthrealm, he is incapable of entering the Netherrealm and reclaiming the amulet himself. So, he basically forces Sub-Zero to go to hell to get the thing back before it ends up in Shinnok's clutches. The Lin Kuei warrior agrees, but only because he has no choice. Inside, he immediately gets captured, and that's when he sees a familiar face.
I am Scorpion. You killed me in cold blood.
I had no choice.
But my clan and family would still be alive.
What?
It wasn't enough to kill me. You had to destroy every last remnant of my being, including my wife and child.
You're mistaken.
Words will not save you. Lin Kuei warrior.
This game's friggin' hilarious. So yes, Scorpion is under the impression that Sub-Zero murdered his wife Harumi and his son Satoshi. Since Hanzo loved his family more than anything, the undead specter becomes a man possessed, his soul unable to rest until his family's killer has been destroyed. Sub-Zero still manages to fend the specter off and breaks out of prison to enter Shinnok's fortress. There he gets ambushed by Quan Chi's 3 Sisters of Shadow, one of which is a lady named Serena. Sub-Zero had the opportunity to end her life, but whether it was guilt over Scorpion or just pity for a pretty face, Bi-Han decides to let her live. At the top of the tower, he confronts Quan Chi.
You cannot exist here unless you were tainted with evil. You belong here. Join my brothers of the Shadow and worship our Lord Shinnok.
Never, sorcerer!
Sub-Zero battles with the sorcerer, and during the fight, he gets some unexpected help.
Why did you help me?
Take me with you. I've waited an eternity to escape.
You don't understand. I can't leave without you.
Oh! Shinnok comes from behind and supposedly kills Serena. So now it's Sub-Zero versus the former Elder God. And thanks to his ice powers, it's surprisingly easy.
The amulet!
A magical portal opens up and Bi-Han escapes to deliver the amulet back to Raiden. All's well that ends well. When the Lin Kuei warrior returns home, he finds that he already has a new client.
His name is Shang Tsung, and he would like you to compete in a small tournament. It's called Mortal Kombat.
Hey, that's the name of the game I'm playing! So yeah, that's Sub-Zero's backstory going into the tournament. In reality, his true motivation for entering is to collect the bounty on Shang Tsung's head. But he's gotta be careful, because Scorpion has also arrived to participate as well. And one benefit of being a Spectre from Hell is that he can now summon Hellfire from the ground, teleport for surprise attacks, and he has the ability to take off his own face in order to breathe fire onto his enemies. Also, he's very insistent that you get over there.
Oh, get over here! Oh, get over here!
And that's all the playables of the original Mortal Kombat. Although, there is one extra hidden character that not many players will be able to face off with. A green ninja who goes by the name of Reptile. He doesn't belong to a ninja clan, he is one of the last remaining Zaterrans who works for Shao Kahn. On this particular instance, he's tasked with being Shang Tsung's bodyguard. He may look human on the outside, but like with Scorpion, this is all a facade. Only Raiden knows the true name of the one called Reptile.
Step aside, Sizoff.
You know my true name.
and the path to your defeat.
Anyway, Mortal Kombat takes place on Shang Tsung's private island, and the competitors all manage to bond with each other. Raiden unites Liu Kang, Johnny Cage, and Sonya Blade because this is the most important competition of their lives. To fail would mean the doom of Earthrealm.
The fate of billions will depend upon you. Sorry.
So what do we know about the first game? Well, Kano was thought to have been killed in the first tournament, so I'm assuming Sonya knocked his ass into the pit.
Sonya wins. Flawless victory.
Scorpion and Sub-Zero do face off once again, but this time we get a wildly different outcome. Scorpion unleashes his rage and gets the better of the Lin Kuei warrior. Man, Bi-Han was a badass, but I guess karma had to catch up sometime. And now we reach the finals. Who was the badass who managed to reach the championship fight? Why, it was the Shaolin monk, Liu Kang. Bred to be a champion since he was a little boy, his fighting prowess is unmatched as he climbs the ranks and faces off with Prince Goro. Forearms or no, the Shokan can't handle Liu Kang's speed and precision and ends up getting dethroned. But that's not the end. Shang Tsung still has the right to final combat, and so he challenges Liu Kang. But if the great Kung Lao could do it while Shang was a younger fellow, you can bet that fighting him as an old man isn't that much worse. Liu Kang achieves the impossible. He defeats Shang Tsung, once again tipping the balance of power back into Earthrealm's favor. We have a new Mortal Kombat champion and a new era of peace. Or at least so it seemed anyway. So Mortal Kombat 2 begins with Shao Kahn extremely pissed off at Shang Tsung. This is the second time that Earthrealm has escaped his grasp.
You failed me too often, sorcerer.
Over a millennium, I failed you twice.
That is unacceptable.
The Emperor is more than ready to end the sorcerer's life when Shang Tsung makes a desperate pitch. They may have lost in Earthrealm's tournament, but what if they were to create a new one that raises the stakes? A single competition to be held in the Outworld itself, where the winner takes all. If Shao Kahn wins, Earthrealm is his. But if he loses, his claim is lost forever. It's certainly a dangerous proposition, but at least this time around, the Emperor himself would be able to squash the competition. Shao agrees, and to better his chances, he even revitalizes Shang Tsung, giving him back the youth that would no doubt give Liu Kang a run for his money. Now, of course, the Earthrealmers might see this for the desperate gambit that it is and turn down the offer. So perhaps the heroes will need a little motivation. Shao Kahn calls upon his Tarkatan army, which is led by General Baraka. Tarkatans make up the bulk of the Outworld forces, and they're basically nomadic mutants. They have no hair, fucked up teeth, and they're also born with retractable blades that they can send directly out of their arms. These guys come with natural weapons, and that is one hell of a feature, I gotta say. With an army this deadly, not even a temple of Shaolin monks could withstand their onslaught. Which is exactly what happens when the Emperor sixed them upon the White Lotus Society. Liu Kang and Kung Lao return from Shang Tsung's island to find that all of the innocent monks have been massacred. Everybody is dead, the society is no more. Revenge burns deeply in Liu Kang's soul. To make matters worse, while Raiden is pondering whether to accept Shao Kahn's challenge, he finds that one of his chosen heroes has gone missing. Lieutenant Sonya Blade was ambushed by Outworlders and abducted from Earthrealm. She now finds herself chained up in Khan's Coliseum, right alongside her good buddy Kano, who is very much still alive. This spurs her commanding officer, Major Jackson Briggs, to approach the Forces of Light asking to join them. No soldier gets left behind, a sentiment that Raiden can't help but agree with. And so he takes Liu Kang, Kung Lao, Johnny Cage, and Jackson Briggs, or Jax for short, into Outworld. They all agree to participate in the second tournament to rid Earthrealm of the Outworld menace once and for all. Meanwhile, it gets back to the Lin Kuei headquarters that Bi-Han was murdered. Sub-Zero is dead, and this news shocks his younger brother Kuai Liang, who is determined to find answers concerning what happened. It's then that he learns of the second tournament and decides to venture into Outworld so he can participate. But he's not going to be going as Tundra. Instead, he will adopt his fallen brother's persona, becoming the new Sub-Zero. He also gets accompanied by his best friend and fellow assassin, Smoke. Real name Tomas Verbata, this warrior has the ability to manipulate, well, smoke. He doesn't know where he got these powers, but it allows him to blend in with his surroundings and make others suffocate. He doesn't actively participate in the tournament, but he is a hidden character one can challenge. And since Sub-Zero is competing, this attracts the attention of Scorpion. He comes back from hell one more time to make sure that he killed the right person. The forces of darkness have many combatants at their disposal. Reptile, Shang Tsung, Baraka, Jade, as well as Shao Kahn's two adoptive daughters, Kitana and Mileena. While competing in the tournament, Kitana comes face to face with the Mortal Kombat champion Liu Kang for the first time. And while they are on opposite sides, there's something about this noble Shaolin that intrigues her. He treats Kitana with respect, he refuses to kill his opponents, and the encounter makes her question a great many things. Why does she feel so out of place with her father? Why doesn't her twin sister Mileena pop up in her childhood memories? This leads her to doing some investigative work and uncovering a major secret. She learns of Shang Tsung's flesh pits. In order to learn how to shapeshift and how to steal souls, the sorcerer had to experiment. He's something of a scientist, you see. And so, Shao Kahn gave him access to a laboratory/dungeon where he committed some of the worst atrocities imaginable. Lots of people getting captured and tortured, including someone named Kotal, who would be killed in the original timeline by these experiments. Shang Tsung once created a bloody meat skeleton that managed to escape the lab and somehow survive in its unfinished state. This is the origin of the playable character known as Meat. But by far, Shang Tsung's greatest creation was an identical clone bred to be the daughter that Shao Kahn always wanted. He created Mileena. But that's not all. In order to increase her ferocity and give her that killer edge, he also cross-mixed Kitana's DNA with that of a Tarkatan. So underneath Mileena's mask lies the same hideous razor mouth that Baraka and his cohorts have. How the fuck did Kitana never see that? Oh, no. At least in Mortal Kombat 9, they make it so that she meets Mileena for the first time, but in the original timeline, I mean, these girls are 10,000 years old. What, Mileena just never took her mask off ever? They never had to shower or have girl talk or anything? But yeah, Mileena is definitely more sadistic, more evil, and she's not above cannibalism as she enjoys eating her enemies. We also learn in her ending that she and Baraka are a secret couple behind the scenes. Gee, I wonder why.
Repulsive human.
Sleeping with Baraka's repulsive.
Who told you this?
Needless to say, this revelation shatters Kitana's world. All of a sudden, she remembers everything. Sindel, Jared, Edenia. This isn't the life she's supposed to have. It's all bullshit. Mileena, who had been under orders from Shao Kahn to spy on her sister, now decides to end her pitiful existence once and for all. The two sisters battle until only one remains.
Kitana wins.
God damn! Yeah, Kitana does kill Mileena in Mortal Kombat 2. Though maybe she didn't cut her head off, maybe she knocked her off the pit, or maybe she gave her a sweet goodbye kiss.
Kitana wins.
How the fuck did she do that? If I were Liu Kang, I'd be very nervous. But still, Shao Kahn's adoptive daughter turns from the dark side and officially joins the forces of light. The only other conflict I can speculate about is Sub-Zero and Scorpion. In MK4, they're still enemies. Scorpion wants to kill Sub-Zero, and that kind of flies in the face of his 2 and 3 endings, where Scorpion realizes that the younger brother is far more merciful and therefore could not be his family's killer. He chooses to be his protector and keep him from harm, but then in MK4 he changes his mind for no reason at all. I'm going to assume they never reconciled and that Sub-Zero defeated him in a fight. Regardless, both characters survive to fight another day. Also worth mentioning is that there is a stage called the Pit 2, and in the background we see a green monk battling a man on fire. This flaming fighter is named Blaze, and they are currently in the process of being abducted. Trust me, this character will be very, very important going forward. Like before, this tournament's outcome relies entirely on Liu Kang. He defeats Baraka and once again comes face to face with Shang Tsung. Despite being younger and pissed off over his last defeat, he still comes up short against the Shaolin. In the semi-finals, Shao Kahn unleashes a Shokan warrior that's meant to be even more brutal and fearsome than Goro, Kintaro. Apparently the Shokan have feline variants of themselves, as this guy has a tiger stripe pattern as well as a cute little kitty cat nose. He screams really loud, but he still cannot get the job done. So it all comes down to this. The Emperor gets to show off his skills. The only thing stopping him from claiming Earthrealm is this puny little monk.
You will die, mortal.
And yet, this is something Liu Kang has been training for his entire life. The battle is fierce, it is exhausting, and yet somehow, some way, Liu Kang manages to defeat the Emperor of Outworld.
No.
And somehow Shao Kahn managed to survive exploding into a whole bunch of stone blocks. But there we go! Liu Kang retains his title as the Mortal Kombat champion, thereby ensuring complete amnesty from Outworld. A rather shocking event for the people in the audience. Jax manages to free both Sonya and Kano, but unfortunately the Black Dragon Thug manages to escape in the shuffle, disappearing into a nearby portal. Still, Jax is just relieved that nothing bad happened to his lieutenant. No longer welcome in Outworld, Kitana decides to follow Liu Kang and the Forces of Light back to Earthrealm. The vibe is ultimately bittersweet. Sure, Shao Kahn is lost, but the White Lotus Society is still very much eradicated. Our Shaolin champion will always honor the people who were sacrificed to achieve this peace. Too bad it won't last for much longer.
Remember when I said I would leave Earthrealm alone?
That's right, Shao Kahn, you did!
I lied.
So Shao Kahn definitely lost in the Outworld tournament, but he wasn't without a backup plan. Somehow he discovered that he is allowed to cross over into other realms through one single loophole. If his bride is misplaced in another realm, he is allowed to step through the dimensional gates to reclaim her. Now, of course, Sindel is deceased, but he still has Shang Tsung and a whole bunch of magical shadow priests who can bring people back from the dead. So for their new plan, Shao Kahn resurrects Sindel on Earthrealm, thus allowing his army's safe passage to cross over and invade. Also, they manage to brainwash the Queen, making her completely subservient to the Outworld Emperor. Now, admittedly, this scenario raises too many questions. Why did it have to be Sindel? What was stopping Shao Kahn from just marrying Jade and sending her over? It's not like he has a problem sending troops since he massacred the White Lotus Society. In MK9, they changed the explanation a little by saying that Sindel created a magical ward to protect Earthrealm when she ended her life. But then MK11 completely retcons that too, so, whatever. Do you want Mortal Kombat 3 or not? The point is, this game is no longer about a tournament. It's a straight-up invasion. And now the Emperor is using every piece on the chessboard. Since Goro and Kintaro prove to be utterly useless against Liu Kang, his affection shifts from the Shokan to the Centaurs, an army of half-human, half-horse savages who have augmented their bodies with cybernetics. This means they're able to shoot lasers out of their tails. It's metal as fuck. They are led by General Motaro. If they could bring Sindel back from the dead, you can bet they can do the same for Mileena. Yep, they resurrect Daddy's favorite girl, and she is burning with revenge for Kitana. The Emperor declares Sindel's daughter to be a traitor to Outworld, one that needs to be taken care of as soon as possible. For this, he approaches Jade, Kitana's best friend and bodyguard. Another Edenian forced into servitude, the green ninja girl has loyally served Shao Kahn for generations. But now she's between a rock and a hard place. If she doesn't follow her orders and capture her friend, she'll be an enemy to Shao Kahn as well. She is to be accompanied by Reptile, who has received a conflicting directive. Whereas Jade needs to capture Kitana, Shao Kahn tells the Zaterran to just straight up kill her. Well, gee, that won't lead to any conflict, now will it? Also joining the fray this time around is the purple ninja Rain. Another former Edenian, this guy actually sold out his realm by betraying a rebel faction. See, he wanted to lead the group, but they all thought he was too power-hungry and selfish. Well, if that's how they feel, fuck those guys. I'm joining Shao Kahn. Rain has the ability to manipulate water. And he's not the only ninja, as Shao Kahn also has a red one named Ermac. So the whole entire time that Kahn has been conquering realms, he's also been collecting the souls of every single person he kills, creating soul chambers in his fortress to contain them for whatever purpose he desires. Along with revitalizing Shang Tsung's youth, he also created a special human vessel that is made up of a collection of these souls. That is Ermac. Consider their pronouns they, them, as the Red Ninja is a legion of identities all occupying the same body. This grants them incredible abilities, including levitation and telekinesis. Despite having multiple personalities all vying for control, Shao Kahn keeps them in line with his dark magic. They are still completely obedient to their emperor. Also joining the forces of darkness is Noob Saibot, a shadow ninja who hails from the Netherrealm. And yes, he's literally just a ninja again, but completely black. See, in order to add extra characters to the games, the developers would bypass their memory limitations by basically just recoloring everybody. Kitana, Jade, Melina, Scorpion, Reptile, Rain, Ermac, they all use the exact same sprites. As the games go on, their designs would change it up to differentiate each other, but you know, Mortal Kombat is famous for having ninjas of every color of the rainbow, and that's basically why. Anywho, Noob Saibot, which backwards is Tobias Boone, the two co-creators of Mortal Kombat, is basically a revenant, a member of the Brotherhood of Shadow who has been ordered by his Lord Shinnok to assist Shao Kahn. Noob has the ability to will his own shadow into existence, essentially creating a tag team partner, which is a very scary thing. Oh my god! I instinctively grabbed myself. That's how uncomfortable that was. Good lord. Now, there are details about all of these ninjas that I'm leaving out, but we'll leave that for their appropriate twist reveals. Next in the bad guy lineup is Shiva, a female Shokan who serves as Queen Sindel's bodyguard. She's always been loyal to the Emperor, but lately that dedication has faltered because of his admiration towards the Centaurs. See, Shokan and Centaurs, they're basically mortal enemies. They hate each other, and to see Motaro become the de facto leader of Shao Kahn's extermination squads, that really doesn't sit right with her. Still, she will do her duty as any good warrior would. And finally, I did want to mention that despite being locked up during the last tournament, the Black Dragon thug Kano sees the way the wind is blowing and decides to align with Outworld. In fact, he uses his black market connections to supply Shao Kahn with tons of earth weapons. A Tarkatan is deadly. A Tarkatan with a rocket launcher? Well, that's just a good Friday night. On the opposite side of the conflict, Sonya and Jax would make a desperate plea to their superiors about the crazy shit that's happened to them in the last two games. They beg for government funding to protect themselves from Outworld, but it all falls on deaf ears. Sub-Zero and Smoke return to the Lin Kuei headquarters to find that things have changed quite a bit. In order to improve the deadly capabilities of their clan, the Grand Master decides to incorporate technology into its warriors. Now you might think, oh, he's gonna give them cool gadgets and weapons and stuff. No. Instead, the Grandmaster tells everybody that they will now be cyberized, that their bodies will be encased in metal shells, their brains hardwired to obey commands. Basically, they have to turn themselves into robots. In fact, the Grandmaster's son, Sector, is the first volunteer who chooses to undergo the operation, because he believes in the cause and feels that becoming cyber is the natural evolution of the Lin Kuei. The second person to undergo these experiments is Cyrax, a warrior who hails from Botswana. While he does resist surrendering his consciousness to the cause, he knows ultimately that there is no leaving the Lin Kuei. He reluctantly allows himself to become cyberized. Sub-Zero and Smoke are horrified by what the Lin Kuei has become, and so they both decide to make a break for it. While Kuai Liang does receive a nasty scar in the escape, he does still manage to get away. Smoke, however, is not so lucky. The robotic assassins manage to subdue him and go on to completely rob his humanity. Tomas forever stuck in his robotic shell. And so, Sector, Cyrax, and Smoke all have but one mission: to capture the rogue Lin Kuei, Sub-Zero. And with that, the stage is set for Outworld to invade Earthrealm. They first arrive in the middle of New York City, where Shao Kahn sends his extermination squads to hunt down Raiden's warriors, because getting humiliated by Liu Kang will not stand. They don't find the Shaolin champion right away, but Motaro does manage to find Johnny Cage. And while the movie star makes a valiant effort, he is no match for the Centaur. Johnny Cage is killed.
Page 62, Johnny Cage dies? Is someone high?
This is extra confirmed in Mortal Kombat 9, showing how Motaro stabbed him with a big spear. That's, not good. It gets even worse when the Emperor sends his Shadow Priests to spawn a massive soul-sucking tornado. A soul-nado, if you will. This giant whirlwind of destruction is so powerful that it manages to suck up every life force in Earthrealm. Oh yeah, it's that damn strong. The only people who manage to keep their souls intact are the forces of light, as well as a few new faces whose determination kept them alive. Like the New York police officer Curtis Stryker, a really strong member of the law who single-handedly took out a building of terrorists all by himself and managed to stop a speeding bus that was rigged to explode. That's right, his backstory is both Die Hard and Speed. Anywho, the guy is very talented, and so Raiden recruits him into the fold. Next up is Nightwolf, a Native American shaman who can communicate with spirits and even exorcise them. He has the amazing ability to spawn deadly light from the heavens, as well as ethereal weapons. His sacred land acts as a nice refuge for the Warriors of Light, one where Shao Kahn's forces cannot find them. And the last human to be spared was Cabal. A former member of the Black Dragon, this guy likes to fight with sharp hook swords. Growing a conscience, he found he was unable to keep rolling with guys like Kano. But as soon as the invasion happened, he came face to face with Kentaro and his extermination squad, and they horribly mutilated the guy. Badly scarred, he could only survive by wearing a giant breathing apparatus, one which covers his face in a ghastly mask. On the plus side, he did find that these otherworldly injuries gave him super speed, the ability to run really fast like the Flash. He joins Raiden's crew to get revenge on Shao Kahn. In order to combat these enemies, Jax decides that he needs an upgrade, and so he fits his arm with indestructible bionic implants. Now the guy has metal arms that no doubt hurt like hell to be punched with. These arms are so iconic with the character, he would never take them off. But anywho, what happened in Mortal Kombat 3? Well, a lot of things actually. Firstly, Reptile and Jade manage to find Kitana, but since the Green Ninja is hell-bent on killing his prey, Jade decides that she has to make a choice. She chooses to side with her best friend and the forces of light, killing Reptile in the process.
Jade wins.
So yeah, Jade's a good guy now. Her and Kitana continue onwards to find Queen Sindel to try and pull her back from this evil mindset. To do so, they have to first cross fists with Shiva, Sindel's bodyguard. Kitana defeats her no problem and then finds herself having to battle her own mother. The Edenian princess is once again successful, and she does manage to knock some sense into the queen. Like her daughter before her, Sindel remembers everything. Edenia, Jared, the evil that is Shao Kahn. But more than anything, She's so proud of the strong, capable fighter Kitana has become. Sindel joins the Forces of Light. But it's still not over because Mileena manages to catch up with Kitana. Oh, you can bet her hideous clone is none too happy about being sent to the Netherrealm. And so we have a rematch between the two sisters that goes exactly like it did before. Kitana kills Mileena for a second time. And now she finds herself back in hell once again under the watchful eyes of Shinnok. Sub-Zero keeps dealing with his robotic hunters and at some point gets into a battle with Cyrax. Kuai Liang wins the encounter and then shows off how good he is with computers by completely reprogramming the yellow cyborg. He changes his directive to instead go against Shao Kahn. Cyrax joins the Forces of Light. It's unclear whether Sub-Zero and Smoke had a similar encounter, but I do know that he never got reprogrammed and he ends Mortal Kombat 3 being a prisoner in Shao Kahn's fortress. And he would remain in that dungeon until Mortal Kombat Deception. Ouch. While scoping out Kahn's fortress, Sonya gets ambushed on a rooftop by her nemesis Kano. He roughs her up and thinks he has the battle won, but in reality, Sonya plays possum. She uses his cockiness to unleash a devastating kick that sends Kano over the edge of the building. But just before falling, he does rip out a lock of Sonya's hair, a memento of their time together. Kano falls to the street below and dies. The centaur Motaro manages to discover Kano's body, brings it to Outworld, and resurrects the corpse with dark magic. However, the Australian cutthroat still failed spectacularly, so he is thrown into the dungeons. It's there that Kano spots Shiva and sees her frustrations finally boil over. See, this girl failed to protect Sindel, and that's another mark of failure for the Shao Kahn race. But it doesn't matter anyway, because it turns out that Shao Kahn has been torturing her people over in Outworld this whole entire time. So she figures, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna kill Motaro and then I'm gonna kill Shao Kahn. Bold move that is mostly successful. Because yes, she does confront Motaro in the dungeons and she does manage to kill the guy. It wasn't the Forces of Light, it was Shiva who did the deed. As she prepares to face Shao Kahn, Kano catches her attention, saying that if she lets him out, he'll gladly help her take out the Emperor. 2-on-1 are good odds, so she agrees. Unfortunately, Kano immediately sells out Shiva, telling Shao Kahn what she did to Motaro. The Emperor kills her with no hesitation. Shiva and Motaro are both dead, and Kano now finds himself promoted, leading the bulk of Shao Kahn's armies. A hot damn. And with that, folks, we come to the thrilling conclusion. The good guys manage to get inside Shao Kahn's fortress, and the two Shaolin monks, Liu Kang and Kung Lao, make it to his throne room. The Emperor awaits them there, now superpowered thanks to Earthrealm souls. It's a 2-on-1 encounter that pushes everyone to their limits. Poor Kung Lao getting really banged up and nearly killed. But like the previous two times, this of course ends as it always should, with Liu Kang going 1-on-1 against Shao Kahn. And you might as well call him Hulk Hogan because this guy doesn't let anybody go over. The Shaolin champion once again defeats Shao Kahn, beating him up so badly that he loses all of the souls he's collected, and somehow the grip that Outworld has on other realms. Like, beating this guy has somehow freed Edenia from its merger, and now Katana's homeworld is back to how it should be. I don't know the logistics, I don't know how this works, but that is certainly the lore of the original timeline. Now, you'd think that Shao Kahn was killed at the end of this game, but no. He's just horribly beaten and manages to slink away back to Outworld. The Earthrealm invasion is called off, every soul on Earth is returned to their bodies, and peace is maintained once again. Realizing that Sonya and Jax were not lying about Outworld, the government decides to give them funding to create the Outer World Investigation Agency. Now the Special Forces have access to technology that can create portals to other realms to do preemptive strikes on any terrorist threat that may come their way. While Sub-Zero finds himself aimless without the Lin Kuei, Cyrax has a bit of a breakdown. See, Shao Kahn has been defeated, so the cyborg awaits further orders that never come. He finds himself stranded in a nearby desert, completely locked up with indecision. But yeah, folks, Shao Kahn is legitimately done. He's hurt, his schemes have failed, and his armies are in disarray. He decides to back off and leave Earthrealm alone. But while this war was going on, one person was giddy with anticipation. Now that everybody's exhausted, it's time for the fallen Elder God to once again wage war. See, it turns out when the Elder Sub-Zero, Bi-Han, managed to retrieve Shinnok's amulet from the Netherrealm, no he didn't. It was all a trick. Quan Chi made a fake duplicate amulet that Shinnok allowed Sub-Zero to steal, and nobody realized it, not even Raiden could tell the difference. Shinnok's had the ability to leave the Netherrealm whenever he wanted, but he's been biding his time, waiting for the Earthrealmers and the Outworlders to finish their war. So now he's swooping in to once again continue his Age of Darkness, battling Raiden yet again. But first, he's going to take a realm that has virtually no way of defending itself. See, there's this woman named Tanya. She is the daughter of an Edenian ambassador and pitches the idea of taking in refugees from another realm to shield them from Shao Kahn's further conquests. So Sindel agrees to let them in, but after a good number of them go through, she discovers that one of them is the fallen Elder God. It's too late though. The Netherrealm forces spring their attack, and Shinnok imprisons the Edenian ladies in their own dungeons. Tanya manages to escape to Earthrealm to warn the forces of light about what's going on. Not that they have any time to react, because Shinnok immediately starts battling all of the gods of the heavens. So yeah, you remember how mythologies had like a fire god and an earth god and a water god? Yeah, those guys are all dead now. Fujin, the wind god, is the only one who manages to escape, warning Raiden about Shinnok's return. Shinnok mostly has demons and Oni as part of his armies, but he does have a few familiar faces by his side. Baraka, who has become disillusioned with Shao Kahn's failures, learns of Shinnok's Edenian takeover and decides, what the hell? I'm gonna give the Elder God my Tarkatan armies. Melina, who has since died twice, is now a resident of the Netherrealm. And boy howdy, she does not like it. She figures this new war is a grand opportunity to escape Shinnok's clutches, as well as get revenge on her dear sister for the third time. Reptile also died, remember? So now he's working for Shinnok under the impression that he can be transported back in time.
Now I wish to return in time to my home world before it was destroyed at the hands of Shao Kahn. As the new ruler supreme of all reality, Shinnok alone has the power to grant me this wish.
Reptile is lonely. He just wants to be reunited with his Zaterran family. Also, you may have noticed that his human form is gone, and as the series continues, he only gets more and more reptilian. Their way of making him stand out, I guess. Speaking of ninjas, Scorpion, being a denizen of the Netherrealm, regularly serves under Quan Chi and Shinnok. He does so again, joining their war, but this time around the Spectre has extra motivation. It's not enough to kill Bi-Han. If he truly wants peace over his family's death, it needs to be eye for an eye. He has to kill Kuai Liang. Only with the complete death of the Lin Kuei will he finally be satisfied. And then there's Reiko, whose entire character has been retconned to hell and back, because he makes his debut in this game. The bio literally says that he's a general of Shinnok's armies who took part in the initial war millions of years ago. The character is meant to be a mystery, as evidenced by his incredibly lame ending. One where he never says a word, he walks through a portal, and that's it. Nothing happens. But then Mortal Kombat 4 came to consoles, and with it, new pre-rendered videos. And so, the developers decided to spice up his ending by showing where the portal goes. And it turns out to be Shao Kahn's throne room. And then, he puts on Shao Kahn's helmet. Oh my god! Is Reiko secretly Shao Kahn? Well, no. Because then we find out he's just a big fanboy.
I am Reiko, general of Shao Kahn's army. What is it you wish to tell me? Oh, Shao Kahn knows about that? Tell him I will no longer enter his chamber or wear his helmet.
What the hell? All that intrigue, all that mystery, and he's just a weirdo who wants to be Shao Kahn. Starting with Armageddon, he'd start wearing outfits similar to the Emperor, and well, that's still the case with the newest game in the series. But this all flies in the face of his MK4 origin story, so I have no idea if he was actually fighting for Shinnok. Either way, that's Reiko. He's a character. It should be mentioned that Goro returns in this game to be the sub-boss, but he's not actually working for the bad guys. No, the only reason he's returned is to get revenge on Liu Kang. But what the Shokan doesn't anticipate is that another Shaolin monk has a score to settle as well. Kung Lao wants to challenge the half-human dragon to avenge his ancestor, the great Kung Lao. Now, Sonya believes Kano is dead, but she's still hunting down the rest of his gang. She and Jax hunt down Jarek, a member who's basically Kano light. He rips people's hearts out, he flies like a cannonball, he has eye lasers. I mean, developers, come on! Why wasn't he just Kano? They're basically the same character. Anywho, when Shinnok's invasion occurs, Jarek offers to help the Special Forces take out the bad guys. But of course, he's expecting complete amnesty after the fact. Another new character is Kai. He's a friend of Liu Kang's who once belonged to the White Lotus Society. That's it. I'm sorry, but this is such a nothing character, one who only returns for Armageddon, a game that brings back everybody. And he wasn't even in the conquest mode. Hell, I watched hours upon hours of character interactions and nobody has anything to say about this guy. In this one game, he turns up to help the Forces of Light. Meanwhile, back in heaven, Johnny Cage's spirit is watching events unfold. And seeing how much of a threat Shinnok is, he begs Raiden, "Please man, you gotta bring me back to life so I can help everybody out." And Raiden goes, "Yeah, okay." What? It's that easy? Why didn't you bring him back to life before? Either way, Johnny Cage is back from the dead. And finally, Sub-Zero is also joining this conflict because he remembers what Bi-Han went through with Quan Chi and the Netherrealm. Without the Lin Kuei, Kuai Liang finds a new calling as a protector of Earthrealm. Also, at some point, Kitana manages to break out of her jail cell and joins the fight. But hey, that's all the setup for Mortal Kombat 4. Okay, so first up, this game introduces Tanya as a new Edenian who just managed to escape so she could help out the good guys. In reality, though, this lady is an evil traitor. It was by no accident that the Netherrealm managed to conquer Edenia. She orchestrated the entire infiltration. Players aren't really aware of what side she's on until they get to her ending.
Follow me, Liu Kang. Raiden has asked that I lead you to him.
Tanya, what's going on?
I don't know what Kitana saw in you. Can't you see, Liu Kang? This is a trap!
Now in this ending, she definitely gets Liu Kang killed, which is not canon. But what is canon is that everybody finds out she's a bad guy, and they treat her as such for the rest of the series. Funny enough, in Mortal Kombat Deception, there's a side quest where Shujinko helps Tanya find a spot to trap Liu Kang. But one solution of this quest is to just straight up tell Liu Kang what she's plotting. So maybe it was the character of Shujinko, who I'll talk about later, that managed to foil the whole thing. Tanya is found out, but she doesn't die. She escapes to live another day. Liu Kang does meet up with Goro, and predictably, he kicks his ass once again. Having been beaten twice in a row, the Shokan gives up on his revenge. And that's really it. There's not a lot to say about the conflict. Raiden and the good guys manage to storm Shinnok's palace, they beat the shit out of him, and he's once again banished to the Netherrealm. Mortal Kombat 9 depicts Raiden as the ultimate winner, although Liu Kang probably could have done it as well. This was a much easier battle than the one from a million years ago. And beyond having help from the Forces of Light, there's actually a reason for this. Quan Chi, Shinnok's favorite sorcerer, is actually a traitor. He didn't join the good guys, but he did manage to fool the Elder God with a fake amulet. Just like Raiden, Shinnok was under the impression that he had the real deal. So when he goes to take on the good guys, he's nowhere near as powerful as he should be. Quan Chi has been after this amulet the whole entire time, and with it, ultimate power is his. Scorpion manages to meet up with Sub-Zero, and once again, the rage for his family proves to be quite the motivator. The Spectre defeats Kuai Liang and gets ready to finish him.
Your soul will never rest, Scorpion. The Lin Kuei may have been responsible for your murder, but your family's true killer still remains free.
If you are not the murderer, then who is?
I am the one you seek. To defeat my nemesis Sub-Zero, I needed the power of a Spectre. You've done my bidding well, Scorpion, but now I must return you to the Netherrealm. Never!
Scorpion moves so quickly that he grabs Quan Chi before getting teleported, thus trapping the sorcerer in hell with him. And oh, Hanzo is not happy. You really should have kept that information to yourself. But yeah, Sub-Zero is now off the hook, and he decides that he wants to return to his old haunt. The Lin Kuei has still been doing its cyber thing when Sector's programming gets corrupted. All the battles he had during the Outworld invasion have fucked up the cyborg circuitry, causing his directives to change. He now believes that he is the one who should lead the Lin Kuei, and that the Grandmaster must be eliminated. So yes, because of a glitch, Sector kills his own father and becomes the leader of the Lin Kuei. Or at least, he almost did. But Sub-Zero comes in after the kill and challenges the Red Robot to a battle, one in which the Cryomancer comes out victorious. Sector manages to escape but leaves behind the Dragon Medallion, the one item that only the Grandmaster can possess. This is no mere trinket, as only one with supreme power over ice can even hope to wield it. But Kuai Liang finds that he is in fact capable of doing so, his ice powers even enhanced by the medallion. And so from that moment forward, Sub-Zero would become the new Grand Master of the Lin Kuei. But now it is to be reformed. No longer a clan used for evil, it will now assist in Earthrealm's protection. Speaking of, the Special Forces spend their time combing over the desert when Sonya and Jax discover one of their allies. Not only is Cyrax saved from his sandy prison, but he gains another form of freedom.
I realize that my existence is unnecessary unless I can fully recover my human psyche.
All right then.
So the Special Forces perform an operation to sever Cyrax's control chip, and it is successful.
I feel life once again, and I remember everything. Thank you so much. I am forever in your debt. I will not return to my Lin Kuei roots as an assassin. I instead choose to fight at your side for Earth.
Well, that's good news.
So as Cyrax joins the Special Forces, someone else gives them the slip. Jarek lived up to his word and helped them defeat Shinnok. However, he refused to be thrown in prison for all that he's done with the Black Dragon. Jax eventually finds the guy.
Going somewhere, Jarek? Jax!
Wait, I promise.
Too late, Jarek.
You can't drop me. You have to uphold the law. You have to arrest me. Wait, this is brutality. You can't do it.
Wrong, Jarek. This is not a brutality. This is a fatality.
Now this is brutal, but originally the scene was in response to Jarek killing Sonya by throwing her off of a cliff. But that's not canon. She's very much alive in MK5. Without that context, it truly feels like Jax overstepped his bounds and murdered a man because he could. But hey, that's the part that stuck. That's relevant to Jarek's backstory going into Armageddon. Having defeated both Shao Kahn and Shinnok, the Elder Gods decide that Raiden is due for a promotion. And with that, Earth will need a new protector.
Our battle with Shinnok's forces is over. I must move on to my new position as an Elder God. And you, Fujin, you must take my former position as Protector of Earth.
Raiden, it will be my honor to succeed you.
Take special care of the mortals of Earth. They are great people.
If you don't remember this, don't worry, I'll explain why very soon. Also, before Raiden left, he gave Kai his lightning staff because the dude wanted to walk the Earth in search of enlightenment. The Netherrealm forces are pushed out of Edenia, and Sindel once again regains her throne. But Melina still shows up to have a word with her dear sister.
I want your status. I want to be Princess of Edenia.
You will die, sister. And I will take this realm for myself. Never!
Oh, Melina, what made you think this was gonna go well? On the plus side, she doesn't die this time, but she will be spending the rest of her life in an Edenian prison. Kitana isn't content to sit around all day. Shao Kahn may have been defeated, but Outworld is still gripped under his tyranny. So she proposes uniting the armies of that realm in order to overthrow the Mad Conqueror. In this, she manages to rally the centaurs under her control, and then proposes unity with the Shokans to Prince Goro.
War has been waged in this realm for too long. We must bring it to an end. I will set aside my differences with the centaurs.
Goro, this is a great victory for all of us.
And then Kung Lao appears.
We are at a moment of peace. How could you attack now?
That was a ceremonial strike of revenge for my ancestor that you killed in mortal combat so many years ago.
And do you wish to continue this battle?
No. I wish only to settle the differences between us.
Well, good thing you didn't screw up this treaty, asshole! But yes, Kung Lao is willing to let bygones be bygones, and so does Goro, it seems. Yeah, he's a good guy now, one willing to help Kitana take out Shao Kahn. But before the Edenian princess can commit to another war, she opens a portal to Earthrealm to see a special someone.
With Shinnok's destruction, you have not only saved the Earth, but you've also saved my own realm. As heir to the throne of my realm, I offer you the chance to rule at my side, as King of Edenia, forever.
I cannot accept your offer. I belong here on Earth as champion of Mortal Kombat.
Damn, really, Liu Kang? This girl practically proposed to you and you rejected her. Bro! This is going to be a haunting last moment between the two, because everything's going to change forever. Okay, so Deadly Alliance begins with Quan Chi running for his life all day, every day, because he pissed off one angry scorpion. Hanzo is beating and tormenting the sorcerer day and night, keeping the guy so busy he can't just escape the Netherrealm like he used to. While evading Scorpion, Quan Chi runs into two Oni demons known as Moloch and Draman. The former, a big blue beast man who beats people up with a chain ball, the latter, a dirty rotting meatbag who's covered in flies. They've been stuck in the Netherrealm for centuries, so Quan Chi makes them a deal. Hey, if you keep Scorpion off of me and kick his ass, I'll get you guys out of here! The two agree, becoming Quan Chi's bodyguards. They also notice the shape of his amulet and tell him about a special dungeon that's existed since the creation of the realms. Sure enough, Quan Chi's amulet affects the place, creating an interdimensional portal into Outworld. The sorcerer immediately makes a break for it, leaving the two Oni behind. Which was not cool. They were really pissed off he broke his promise. But Quan Chi finds himself in a forgotten tomb, one belonging to Onaga, the former ruler of Outworld. See, when the Dragon King died, his army was entombed into many a sarcophagus. The idea being that one day Onaga would return, and when he does, his army would come back with him. Reading the ancient hieroglyphics, Quan Chi realizes that if this army was to come back to life, it would be invincible. He could easily use these warriors to conquer not just Earthrealm, but Outworld, the Netherrealm, you name it, ultimate power would be his. The only problem is that the army is lacking souls, their spirits long departed to the afterlife. And despite being a sorcerer, Quan Chi's not exactly skilled at manipulating spirits. But he does know somebody who is. Shang Tsung. Ever since MK3, the shapeshifter has just been chilling in Outworld waiting for Shao Kahn to recover. And then, Quan Chi shows up on his doorstep. He tells him about the army and how he needs his help to transplant souls into the mummified soldiers. But this is a true offer of partnership. In exchange for his help, not only will Shang Tsung have co-leadership, but he'll also have access to an unlimited supply of souls. With Shinnok's amulet, Quan Chi can open a gateway to the heavens where the spirits are infinite. Shang Tsung would never go hungry again, the afterlife his greatest buffet. Ever the schemer and always looking for ultimate power, Shang Tsung agrees to this team-up. And so the two go forward, becoming one hell of a deadly alliance. Now, if this plan is going to succeed, they'll need henchmen. And so Shang Tsung takes Quan Chi to meet up with Shao Kahn. They pay their respects, and then...
In a false show of allegiance, they sprung their attack.
Yeah, they kill Shao Kahn. The Emperor is finally dead, and now all of his troops answer to the Deadly Alliance. Kano happened to see the whole thing, and well, he's not exactly keen on saying no to them. They got some muscle to enforce their will, but there's still another important thing that needs to be done. They have to eliminate the one guy who's been single-handedly saving Earthrealm time and time again. Liu Kang is meditating in the Wuxi Academy when Shang Tsung makes his presence known. At first, the sorcerer is once again getting his ass kicked. But hey, he didn't come alone.
With Quan Chi's assistance, he achieved this goal. Liu Kang is dead.
Goddamn, how's that for a shakeup? Yes, the Deadly Alliance managed to kill the Mortal Kombat champion, Shang Tsung even stealing his soul to enhance his power. As an Elder God, Raiden sees the whole thing and is definitely not happy. The sorcerers return to Outworld and then get to work by attacking the village of Sun Do. The innocent townsfolk are unable to fight off Kano, Baraka, and the Tarkatans, and so they are enslaved and put to work building the Deadly Alliance's new palace. This place is built upon the very portal to the heavens Quan Chi brought up before. But one villager can't stand what these monsters have done, and so she rebels and actually attacks Kano. This woman's name is Li Mei. She gets surrounded and can't finish the job, but Quan Chi is so amused by her fighting prowess that he decides to make her an offer. Tell you what, we're holding a fighting tournament. If you win, we'll let the entire village of Sun Do go. No strings attached. But if you lose, your soul is ours. I mean, any chance is better than no chance, so Li Mei reluctantly agrees. One more step that needs to be taken is to limit the Forces of Light's method of transportation. For this, they approach a secretive criminal organization that has existed for centuries, the Red Dragon. And if that sounds awfully similar to the Black Dragon, that is no coincidence. It turns out that many years ago, a whole bunch of members got sick of the Red Dragon's rules and restraints and said, fuck this noise, we're gonna start our own clan. One with blackjack and hookers. This is how the Black Dragon came to be. It's like in wrestling how there was the original NWO and then there was the Wolf Pack. Anywho, the Deadly Alliance approached Mavado, a member of the Red Dragon, and asked him to sabotage the Special Forces Outer World Investigation Agency. See, like Hydra, they infiltrated the military a long time ago and can destroy all of their portal technology. If they do this, they will be spared from the coming invasion. Mavado agrees, and he orders his inside mole, Su Hao, to plant a bomb in the Special Forces facility. Su Hao is a Mongolian wrestler whose pierced heart has been repaired through cybernetics. He plants the explosive but could not do so without earning the attention of Jax. He escapes, the bomb goes off, and Major Briggs vows revenge on the Mongolian traitor. This is bad timing to lose access to the portals, as two of their members are now stranded in Outworld. First up was Cyrax. Now a member of the Special Forces, he became a scout who reports what the other realms are up to. In Outworld, he gets ambushed by Reptile, who damages his teleportation module with acid, meaning he can't get home. So Sonya decides to send their newest agent to rescue him, a blind swordsman named Kenshi Takahashi. Years ago, this Japanese warrior was challenging others to sword fights when he happened to catch the attention of Shang Tsung. See, Kenshi descends from a long line of warrior kings whose souls reside inside a tomb known as the House of Pikara. Since he shares their blood, he's the only one who can open the well inside. The sorcerer convinces him to do so, only for the guy to get horribly blinded. Shang Tsung sucks up all of the warrior souls for himself, leaving Kenshi to his miserable fate. But as it turns out, this tomb didn't just have spirits inside, it also contained a special sword known as Sento. By grabbing this weapon, all of Kenshi's senses are extremely heightened, giving him the ability to see every sound and spirit around him. He finds he can also reach out and move things with telekinesis. He goes on a revenge quest to search for Shang Tsung, but ultimately finds nothing because the guy lives in Outworld. When the Special Forces develop portal technology, Kenshi offers his services and joins their crew. While in Outworld, he manages to run into Ermac.
Fellow telekinetic.
It is spirit energy.
Show me.
And because he can sense all of the individual spirits residing inside, he uses his power to remove Shao Kahn's hold. Ermac is their own person again, able to live however they want. Kenshi even trains with the Red Ninja, further developing his own skills. Eventually, he gets a mission to search for the missing Cyrax, but wouldn't you know it, Suhao destroys the base, leaving Kenshi completely stranded in Outworld. And Shang Tsung is all too aware of Kenshi's presence, so he instructs Mavado to eliminate the blind swordsman. In return, the sorcerer promises to hand over Kano, the only black dragon left. See, Mavado's been hunting their entire crew. In fact, the reason he fights with hook swords is because he actually fatally wounded Cabal and took his weapons. Getting Kano would mean finally ending this group of traitors once and for all. This storyline is very interconnected because now I have to explain why Reptile attacked Cyrax. There is this new character, a vampire named Nitara. Now, she's jealous that Edenia managed to separate from Outworld and wants the same thing for her home realm of Veternus. Unfortunately, it is bound to this place by a special orb that resides inside of a volcano inhabited by the cult of the Dragon King. These guys spend all day worshipping a giant dragon egg, which they believe Onaga will one day return from. In order to protect this baby, they stumbled upon a fire elemental known as Blaze, confronted him on a bridge, and then defeated and captured the guy. Using magic, they completely brainwashed the fire elemental to be the egg's bodyguard. Where did Blaze come from? Don't worry, we'll get to that later. For now, the orb keeping Veternus stuck in Outworld is inside the boiling hot magma of this volcano, and only one person could possibly retrieve it. The man made of metal. Nitara needs Cyrax's help, but has to do a little manipulation in order to get it. So she noticed Reptile, the despondent lizard who now finds himself without a master. Shinnok's gone, Shao Kahn's dead, the guy has no one to answer to anymore. And since mindless obedience is the only thing this guy ever knew, he's more than willing to listen to Nitara when she asks him to help her. She tells him to damage Cyrax's portal device, and Reptile does so. Afterwards, Nitara corners Cyrax and tells him that she can get him into Earthrealm through her special necklace, one that has the ability to travel between worlds. But only if he retrieves the orb for her. With no other options, the two head towards the volcano, with Reptile secretly following behind. Anywho, the Deadly Alliance complete their palace, they start killing people and sending their souls into the Dragon King's army. And Raiden gets really fed up. These fuckers have opened a portal to heaven and are stealing spirits to feed on them, and the Elder Gods are just like, we don't need to interfere, someone will figure it out. Good lord, these people are useless. So Raiden goes, screw you guys, I relinquish my post, I'm gonna be protector of Earthrealm again. And Fujin, I don't know what happens to him, he just disappears after this. I mean, the dude got Jay Leno'd, I don't really blame him.
I have relinquished my status as Elder God to return to Earth and lead you all to battle against our old adversaries. We must act now. We must stop this deadly alliance.
Kung Lao lost his best friend and now wants revenge. In order to prepare for the battle ahead, he once again trains with Bo Raicho to learn some of the flying kicks Liu Kang used to win the tournament. And the master? He decides that training isn't enough this time. They killed his best student and now they need to face the consequences. Bo Raicho enters the fray for the first time. Sub-Zero doesn't normally pal around with the good guys, but ever since he reformed the Lin Kuei, Raiden saw the clan for the useful protectors that they are. He not only brings his own strength, but that of his new apprentice. Enter Frost, a female warrior who single-handedly defeated every other student, earning the attention of the Grand Master. Like Sub-Zero, she is a cryomancer, one with a rather inflated ego. She's arrogant, she doesn't give respect, Kuai Liang doesn't approve of her attitude, but thinks she can grow out of it. That's why he brings her along, to put her in real battles that will help gain perspective and enlightenment. It should also be mentioned that Deadly Alliance was also on the Game Boy Advance in the form of Mortal Kombat Tournament Edition. This basically followed the same plot, but included 3 new characters, one of which is Serena, the girl from Mortal Kombat Mythologies. After being blasted by Shinnok, the girl reverted back to her demon form and just hung around doing nothing of note. But then one day, she discovered a secret portal to Outworld. She enters it and finds that simply being in the aura of the living world restores her human appearance. Well, that's something. She also manages to stumble upon Sub-Zero of all people, who has heard about this girl from his brother Bi-Han. Since he knows that she helped him out against Quan Chi, he gladly recruits her into the Lin Kuei. Well, ain't that nice? Another character in Tournament Edition is Sector. Ever since losing his clan to Sub-Zero, the cyborg has decided to form the Takunin, a Japanese clan made up entirely of remorseless robots. Their plan is to, you guessed it, take over the world. And finally, the last thing I want to talk about regarding the lore is Kitana and her war with Shao Kahn. Even though she managed to unite the Centaurs and Shokan, Kano still proved to be a rather formidable enemy. Goro led the charge in the battle against him, but the numbers game was too high. And worst of all, Quan Chi instructed Noob Saibot to enter the fray and take out the 4-armed warrior. The Shadow Ninja accomplishes his goal. Noob kills Goro. This is already a devastating loss when Kitana hears the news about Liu Kang as well. If the Shaolin had accepted her offer earlier, he might still be alive. Anyway, she joins the Forces of Light to take out the Deadly Alliance. But that's all the backstory. Now it's time to find out what exactly happened in this game. Well, a lot of bad things, as it turns out. Frost gets tired of Sub-Zero's sanctimonious attitude and attacks him before he can meet up with the other heroes. She manages to wrestle the Dragon Medallion from his grasp, but finds out that its power is far too much for her. Frost is frozen solid. The Grandmaster has no choice but to turn back, taking his apprentice back to the Lin Kuei Temple. Mavado manages to find his target Kenshi, and he is successful in defeating the guy. He mortally wounds Mr. Takahashi, leaving him to bleed out. It's only thanks to Sub-Zero stumbling upon his body that the guy manages to survive. As reward for eliminating their enemy, the Deadly Alliance lure Kano into Mavado's trap. The 2 dragons battle it out with Mavado coming out on top. He beats the Australian thug and takes him to see his master. Meanwhile, Scorpion is still super pissed at Quan Chi and eventually learns of the Deadly Alliance's plan in Outworld. He proceeds to enter their palace from the basement, not realizing that Shang Tsung has placed some dangerous enemies there. You see, the shapeshifter never planned on sharing his power with Quan Chi. He always planned on backstabbing the guy when their plan succeeded. So, when 2 dangerous Oni with chips on their shoulders manage to pop up in the Dragon King's tomb, Shang decides to place them in the dungeons for safekeeping. That's right, Scorpion runs into Moloch and Draman. And as badass as Hanzo is, it's still a 2-on-1 encounter. He gets overwhelmed and falls in battle. Since they can't feed on an undead specter, Moloch and Draman decide to get rid of the guy the best way they know how. By chucking his ass into the palace's Soulnado. The overwhelming purity is too much for the Hellspawn, and his body is ripped to pieces. Jesus Christ. Another warrior in yellow, however, is protected from such a horrible fate, because Cyrax does manage to enter the hot magma of the Outworld volcano and does manage to find Nitara's orb. She is a vampire of her word, and she does bring the cyborg back to Earthrealm as promised. Shattering the orb, Nitara gets everything she wanted. Viternus is no longer bound to Outworld and has independence once again. The vampire warps back home at long last. In this whole entire time, Reptile has been following the 2, wondering where the hell they disappeared to. But as these thoughts enter his mind, the egg inside of the chamber starts to crack.
A beam of energy ripped out from inside and lanced into Reptile. The ancient prophecy had been fulfilled. The Dragon King had returned.
What the hell does that mean?
Having been enslaved through sorcery to guard the molten incubation chamber, Blaze was finally freed once the dragon egg had hatched. He then resumed the quest he had undertaken before being subdued by his captors.
But now we come to the climactic battle at the Palace of the Deadly Alliance. The forces of light all arrive at the connecting bridge entranceway, letting bo6 go on ahead and scout the area. Inside, he finds a tournament, because Li Mei is currently in the finals of the martial arts competition that will earn her village's freedom. And amazingly, the young girl is successful. She manages to become the champion and defeats everybody that the sorcerers throw at her.
Damn.
Too bad it was all for nothing.
Now that she had emerged victorious, the true purpose behind the tournament was finally revealed to her. Her soul would be the last one Shang Tsung needed to completely revive the Dragon King's lost army.
Yep, this is canon. She does occupy one of the mummified corpses until bo6 storms in, shatters the body she's contained in, thus returning her back to normal. He decides to run off with the poor girl, leaving the other good guys to fight in his stead. But yeah, Raiden, Johnny Cage, Sonya, Jax, Kitana, Kung Lao, they all storm the building, only to get ambushed by a Tarkatan horde, and well, they get fucking massacred. I am not kidding. Johnny Cage, dead. Sonya, dead. Jax, dead. The only two who even got close to the sorcerers were Kung Lao and Kitana. And of course, they both die too. Good lord, he turned her into a pencil neck! Oh, the humanity! Man, Liu Kang was really carrying this group, huh? The game ends with the Thunder God taking on the sorcerers in a 2-on-1 battle.
But the combined might of Quan Chi and Shang Tsung proved to be overwhelming, even for a Thunder God. Raiden was defeated. The Deadly Alliance had won.
The writers really wanted to change it up this time because everybody has a bad ending. The bad guys win completely, and with no one to get in their way, they immediately turn on each other. But in the end, only one sorcerer can stand tall above all others, and Quan Chi is the champion of the Deadly Alliance. Now, before I get into what happens next, I need to talk about the next game's Conquest Mode. As mentioned previously, Deception contains a gigantic adventure where you travel the realms and learn every character's fighting style. Set before the original game, it follows the exploits of a young Shaolin named Shujinko. See, he's just a little kid of the White Lotus Society who one day aspires to enter the Mortal Kombat tournament so that he can defeat Goro and Shang Tsung. However, bo6 says that he's too inexperienced to be trained seriously. That's when a mysterious figure appears.
Greetings, Shujinko.
Who? What are you?
Do not be afraid. I am Damashi. The Elder Gods are in need of a champion. One who could complete a quest to save the realms.
So little Shujinko here finds himself being called up to save the world, granted a special power that allows him to absorb the fighting style of anybody that he battles. Using this new trick, he impresses bo6 so much that the Drunken Master agrees to train him. Doing so takes 5 years. But the young Shaolin is finally as capable as Liu Kang was, able to complete Damashi's quest of searching for the Kami-Dogu. What the hell are Kami-Dogu? Well, once upon a time, the universe as it existed was just one big ethereal plane, filled with elder gods and a dangerous force of nature known as the One Being.
The One Being fed off the Elder Gods. It consumed them. A war raged in the timeless void until 6 Elder Gods forged the Kami-Dogu and used them to splinter the One Being into the many realms.
So yeah, Earthrealm, Outworld, these locations all used to be part of this One Being. The Kami-Dogu had the power to create reality, and so them falling into the wrong hands would definitely be bad. Knowing this, Shujinko is encouraged to do whatever it takes to find them all, including stealing bo6's warrior medallion to prove that he's the real deal. This earns him the respect of the Lin Kuei, leading Shujinko to the very first Kami-Dogu. His next stop would be the Netherrealm, where he encounters a demon known as Ashra. This lady used to belong to the Brotherhood of Shadow just like Serena. However, she was a little more rebellious and questioned Quan Chi's orders on multiple occasions. The sorcerer decided that she was no good as a servant and tried to assassinate her. While running away, Ashra discovers a special kris, a sword with a rather purifying power. For every demon that she slays with this weapon, her soul is cleansed of evil more and more.
By slaying demons with an enchanted sword, I will gradually transform into a being whom this realm cannot contain. Eventually, I will be free.
So Shujinko trains with Ashra and even helps her find the Legion of Souls known as Ermac, because she believes slaying him as well as Noob Saibot will be just the thing to get her into heaven. Regardless, this journey helps Shujinko find the second Kamidogu. His next destination would be one of two new realms introduced in this game, Chaos Realm and Order Realm. These names are pretty self-explanatory, as Order Realm, aka Sado, values law above everything else. They do not tolerate dissension or free-thinking individuals who would upset the balance of their society. Even a crime as small as jaywalking can lead to gigantic prison sentences. Naturally, this makes the world quite oppressive, and so there are a few people who broke free from these chains. One man is Darius, a guy who started up his own militant rebellion to commit terrorist attacks and overthrow the government. He regularly employs the help of Dairu, a mercenary who used to be a respectable guard until he was imprisoned for a crime of passion. See, an assassin killed his family, and Dairu just couldn't let that go. He murdered his family's killer, only to be imprisoned for doing so. Feeling that his loyalty meant nothing and that the assassin was just going to be killed anyway, he breaks out and vows to never enforce the law ever again. What's messed up is that his family was assassinated by Darius. Yeah, he didn't do it out of spite or revenge, he just wanted Dairu to break so that he could manipulate him. The mercenary never finds this out, by the way, as his character would never make a return past Armageddon. Damn. No, his focus in deception is to do a contract killing on the guardsman's greatest warrior, a man named Hotaru. And Hotaru is as extreme as any cop can get. He values law and order above everything else, even his friends and family. Order Realm is constantly at odds with the neighboring world of Chaos Realm, and this place is really nutty. Objects float in the sky for no reason, there's no government, everyone does whatever they want. And one man in particular wants the entire universe to be this way. A cleric of chaos known as Havoc. Half of his face has rotted off and you can see his skull, which apparently means nothing in this realm. Hell, Havoc can snap his bones and bring them back together like it ain't no thing. The dude hates order and he hates rules and he doesn't honor promises or contracts. Randomness and anarchy is the defining philosophy for this guy.
Can you point me to that chap, Havoc?
So it makes sense that the Joker becomes his best friend when he guest appears in Mortal Kombat 11. Anywho, Shujinko finds his third Kamidogu inside of a body of water here, but again, because Chaos Realm doesn't follow conventional rules, the world accelerates around him and he gets even older. Oops. Shujinko's next stop is Outworld, but upon arriving, he gets accosted by Melina, who informs him that Shao Kahn plans to brutally conquer the city of Lei Chen. Not wanting innocent people to suffer, he decides to liberate this village by searching for help to fight off the Emperor's armies.
If word of our struggle were to reach Sado, the realm of order, their elite guardsmen may give us aid.
In order to convince them, the village's leader, King Zafiro, tells Shujinko to find a valuable artifact to barter for their freedom. And wouldn't you know it, it's the Kamidogu. Well, he can't very well give that up, so Shujinko tells Hotaru that if he were to help, the city of Lei Chen would gladly let them occupy the place.
King Zafiro seemed not to recall that arrangement.
Men often do not recall the details of bargains they make out of desperation.
Wow, Shujinko, that was just a straight-up lie.
You have sacrificed much in your service to the Elder Gods these long years. Therefore, they are granting you that which you have desired since your childhood. A chance to compete in the Mortal Kombat tournament in Earthrealm and defeat the sorcerer Shang Tsung.
So Shujinko catches up to the first game. He returns to Earthrealm and encounters both Kenshi as well as Nightwolf. The shaman feels his spiritual aura and realizes that his time spent in the Netherrealm has corrupted his soul. Nightwolf offers to purify him, albeit through an extremely lengthy process. Shujinko, who has nothing better to do before the tournament, figures, sure, why not? He trains with the Matoka tribe for many years, aging him up even more.
I have undergone a spiritual cleansing.
This is an unfortunate turn of events.
Unfortunate? An evil stain has been cleansed from my soul.
The taint you refer to allows you to enter realms otherwise inaccessible to other beings.
So yeah, all those years are wasted as Damashi tells the guy to go back to the Netherrealm so he can be more evil again. And him competing in the tournament? That's off. Not sure why he wanted him to do this, it doesn't help him find the Kamidogu in any way, but whatever. Shujinko also runs into Raiden for the first time, who seems perplexed to hear that he's the Elder God's champion. Anyway, our hero spends a long time in hell. In fact, he doesn't get out until Deadly Alliance happens, at which point he runs into Raiden again, who asks him for help in taking out the two sorcerers. So Shujinko goes back to Outworld, immediately gets captured by Kano, and is sent to Sundo to build the Deadly Alliance's giant palace. It's here that he meets a frustrated Li Mei, who he teaches martial arts. I repeat, Shujinko is the one who taught Li Mei how to fight. Anyway, after doing so, the warrior makes a break for it, and he decides to get help from the neighboring city of Lei Chen. After all, Hotaro's beaten back Shao Kahn's armies before, surely he can do the same again.
Hotaru, it is good to see.
You have violated my ordinance. You were to go indoors when the toll sounded.
I just recently arrived. I had no knowledge of any ordinance.
Ignorance is not an excuse. I am placing you under arrest for disregarding the laws of this city.
Yeah, Shujinko gets arrested for violating curfew, and it takes many years for his trial to begin. He spends the remainder of his life in a jail cell for breaking curfew. What in the fuck, Hotaru? Darius is right. Fuck the Order Realm. Burn it to the ground. Wash it away in a wave of death. Also, time might flow differently in Order Realm because there is no way that the Deadly Alliance conflict has been going on for years. Raiden was just gathering people to storm the place. I mean, if time is flowing correctly, what the fuck was he waiting for? Johnny Cage to finish filming his movie? Either way, eventually Dairu shows up to break Shujinko out of jail at the request of his client, Damashi. Our hero can't believe that the Elder Gods would allow innocent guardsmen to die and finds all of this quite sketchy. Nevertheless, while breaking out, he happens to find the 5th Kamidogu, go figure. It allows him to enter Edenia, where Shao Kahn's armies have taken over the palace. Kitana asks Shujinko to help rescue her mother from Tanya, and he does just that. As reward for saving the queen, Shujinko is given the final Kamidogu! Holy shit, the quest is over!
My quest is almost at an end.
What is ending is your meddling in the affairs of the Elder Gods, mortal.
Scorpion!
Okay, so after being cast into the Soul Nado by Moloch and Draman, Scorpion finds himself in the heavens alongside the Elder Gods. And they make him a deal. Someone bad is trying to destroy the universe, trying to resurrect the one being. And if he agrees to be their champion, they will bring back his family and clan from the dead. This is by far the most important thing to Hanzo Hasashi, so Scorpion gladly agrees to be the Elder God's champion. He goes to stop the one assembling the Kamidogu. He goes to stop Shujinko, who is not the Elder God's champion. It's a valiant effort, but the Shaolin is far too powerful thanks to the dozens of fighting styles he's picked up.
The Kamidogu should have been transported to the Elder Gods. Why is it not happening?
Shujinko, please save me!
Oh, fool! Damashi does not exist. I manipulated this astral puppet from beyond the boundaries of death, and in turn, manipulated you. I am Onaga, the Dragon King of Outworld and soon-to-be ruler of all that exists. I will take these artifacts you have so dutifully collected for me. I am afraid they will not make it into the hands of the Elder Gods after all. And so, Shujinko, your quest is done. Prepare for death.
The old Shaolin makes a break for it, escaping into Earthrealm's portal. But Onaga does not give chase. Now that he has a body again, thanks to Reptile, he proceeds to the Deadly Alliance's palace to take Shinnok's amulet as well as his army. Quan Chi tries to fight him off, it doesn't work. Shang Tsung gets up and helps him out, that doesn't work. Even Raiden, knowing full well how dangerous Onaga is, decides to help the two sorcerers take him down.
Raiden began to realize that even their combined might was not enough to defeat the Dragon King. Raiden's sacrifice was in vain, for the blast had little effect on the Dragon King. Now Onaga has what he needs to shape the realms as he sees fit. I was the fool who brought him this power. Only I can destroy this threat, born of deception.
So yeah, Onaga is pretty powerful thanks to the Kami Dogu. His plan is to merge the items together to gain ultimate power, but doing so will unwittingly resurrect the One Being, which will result in the end of the universe as we know it. Onaga wastes no time in taking over the Deadly Alliance's army, recruiting both Baraka and Tanya to his cause. He even goes over to the dead forces of light and resurrects them to be his mindless servants, because apparently that's a power he has. Regardless, Kitana, Johnny Cage, Kung Lao, and all the others are all brainwashed, working for the Dragon King. You wouldn't know this outside of Ermac's ending, because none of these characters were playable or fightable in the base version of Deception. Onaga leads his troops to the realm of Edenia because the secrets to merging the Kami Dogu lie there. Using Kitana as a hostage, he easily submits Queen Sindel into surrendering because she dare not lay a finger on her daughter. Jade, on the other hand, is not so soft, and she battles and defeats Kitana in order to free the queen. The brainwashing doesn't go away, so the two women have to flee to Outworld to escape Onaga's wrath. Jade and Sindel will not stop until they discover a way to save Kitana. Baraka goes into the Edenian prison and finds his old concubine, Melina. Onaga figures that a duplicate of Kitana can be mighty useful, so he orders her to take her sister's place, leading the Outworld armies to their doom. I'm not sure why she can't use the actual Kitana for this. Maybe she's just super brain dead as a brainwashed slave. Either way, Melina gains control of Kitana's army. With Quan Chi dead, Noob Saibot finds himself without a master for the very first time. And with no one to answer to, he figures now is the time for his ascension. He is going to build an army that will allow him to conquer the Netherrealm and become its ruler. Entering the dungeons of Shao Kahn's fortress, he finds Smoke, a long-forgotten war trophy of the Earthrealm invasion. Resurrecting him with his own nanotechnology, the Revenant reprograms the cyborg to obey him, becoming his first minion. They go forward to build Noob's army when they come across a certain warrior. After being betrayed by Frost, Sub-Zero discovers some ice caves in Outworld, which turn out to be the ruins of a long-forgotten sect of cryomancers. Kuai Liang comes to the conclusion that he and Bi-Han must have descended from this group, and so he adorns himself in their armor. And that's why in Deception, the dude looks like Shredder from the Ninja Turtles. While in Outworld, he discovers the Wraith with his best friend Smoke. He trails them all the way into the Netherrealm, but eventually they become aware and subdue him. And that's when the series finally gets to the big twist reveal about Noob Saibot.
He was unaware that they were followed by someone Noob had not seen since before he became a Wraith. Smoke instantly recognized their visitor. He was an echo of their past. He was Sub-Zero, Noob Saibot's brother.
Yeah, this was never established until Deception, but Noob is Bi-Han, the very same man killed in the first Mortal Kombat tournament, a being turned into pure evil by Quan Chi's sorcery. And while Sub-Zero would have treated Kuai Liang with love and respect, Noob Saibot only sees an enemy to kill. He goes to murder his brother when Serena, of all people, shows up to save the day. See, while she was told to hang back at the Lin Kuei headquarters, she couldn't help but feel honor-bound to protect Kuai Liang as thanks for Bi-Han's mercy. She followed him into the Netherrealm and saved the Grandmaster, turning this handicap match into a tag team. They defeat Noob and Smoke, causing them to run away and lick their wounds. However, being back in the Netherrealm, Serena's body reverts back to its demonic form, which Sub-Zero does not recognize. He attacks her, causing her to run away as well. Kuai Liang lives to fight another day, and now he's obsessed with saving his brother. Meanwhile, you remember how Movado mortally wounded Cabal and stole his hook swords? Well, Havoc, the Cleric of Chaos, managed to find the guy. He nursed him back to health and then made a suggestion that he should return the Black Dragon to its former glory. And I guess Cabal didn't hate the group as much as he said he did, because he totally agrees to not only resurrect the gang, but to make it much more brutal and vicious than ever before. He finds 2 new recruits in the form of Kira and Cobra. Kira is a ruthless weapons dealer from Afghanistan, and Cobra is a street fighter from America. In fact, you may look at Cobra and think to yourself, wait a minute, that's just Ken Masters. Yeah, the developers basically decided to make Violent Ken a character in their game. What if Ken got off on murdering people in street fights? Well, then you get Cobra. Cabal manages to find Movado and wins in a rematch with the guy, taking back his hook swords. His bio says that he kills him, but of course, the character returns for Armageddon, so I don't know what happened there. And now we come to the big twist returns. So the Thunder God Raiden blew himself up in order to destroy Onaga. And while this blast did kill the Deadly Alliance, being a god, his energies eventually reform and return him back to life. However, Raiden comes back a completely different man. Not only is he wearing dark clothing, his eyes are bright red. The guy has turned edgy. He's become sick of these endless wars, sick of people like Shujinko completely fucking everything up for Earthrealm. He now has a strict no-tolerance policy. If you threaten Earthrealm in any way, you will die. If you do not help him protect Earthrealm, you are an enemy. Dark Raiden is here, and he's here to stay. His first act with this new mindset is to resurrect Liu Kang. He brings the champion's corpse to a ceremonial site for necromancers, shackles it to the table, and proceeds to breathe life into the being once more. This does not mean that Liu Kang the person is alive, merely that his body is an undead warrior that will do Raiden's bidding. The Thunder God sends the Shaolin zombie to destroy and eliminate all of Earthrealm's enemies, people who would threaten its very safety. So yeah, in Deception, Zombie Liu Kang is a playable character, and it's not exactly the hero we all remember. However, the actual Liu Kang is still around. Since Shang Tsung was destroyed, all of the souls contained within him are free to at last ascend to the heavens. But our noble hero decided to hang back and help his friends defeat Onaga. Bo6 finds the situation in Outworld to be quite hopeless. He joins Kitana's army with Li Mei, but finds that Onaga is invincible, and that there is no chance of winning. But then, Liu Kang appears before him, giving him an incredible pep talk. And with this newfound determination, he rallies the army against Baraka and his Tarkatans, and they actually manage to defeat them and push them all back. And keep in mind, this was a trap. Kitana is actually Mileena, remember? And she purposefully sent the armies exactly where Baraka's troops expected them to go, and they still lost the fight! Mileena is shocked at the result, but at the same time, she has an epiphany. Because now, she's in control of the greatest army in Outworld. Why does she need to listen to Onaga when she is currently the most powerful person in the realm? Mileena's always wanted to be a leader, and since everyone thinks she's Kitana, she's exactly that. She turns on Baraka and decides to actually lead the troops against the Dragon King. But Liu Kang isn't done inspiring people, because eventually he finds the Legion of Souls known as Ermac. Appealing to their nature of being mindless slaves to Shao Kahn, he convinces them to save his friends from Onaga's control. And again, amazingly, this works! Ermac manages to confront all of the heroes that were killed in Deadly Alliance, fending them off one by one as Liu Kang restores them back to normal. Sonya, Jax, Johnny Cage, Kung Lao, and Kitana are all brought back to their senses. And this takes us to the finale of Deception. With the Kamidogu, Onaga is invincible, but one man has the power to shatter these objects and weaken the Dragon King. Shujinko has spent the entire adventure learning every single person's combat style and thus has become quite proficient. He challenges Onaga and manages to destroy the Kamidogu in the throne room, bringing the Emperor back to normal. Well, it's a good thing destroying these objects didn't completely unmake the universe, huh? Either way, Onaga's deception would be his undoing. Shujinko defeats the Dragon King. Meanwhile, this whole time, Nightwolf has been on a journey to the Netherrealm so that he may strip Onaga's soul from his body and contain it in hell. He unleashes the sins of his Matoka tribe to do so, keeping the villain bonded to a special rune. No longer possessed, Reptile's body returns back to normal as all of our heroes celebrate. So yeah, if you ever wondered how both Reptile and Onaga can coexist in Armageddon, there you go. But yeah, Shujinko saves the day. All's well that ends well, right? Well, kinda. See, eventually this game comes to the Nintendo GameCube, and with it, 2 new characters. And, well, it's Goro and Shao Kahn. Now, wait a minute, didn't they both die? Well, of course they did, but it turns out that when Shao Kahn was recuperating after his loss in MK3, he created a clone of himself to take his place on the throne. I mean, yeah, I guess because of Melina, we know that cloning exists. It's just kinda goofy that the Deadly Alliance didn't kill the real deal. No, the real Shao Kahn heard about his clone getting murdered and went into hiding. Now, Noob Saibot did defeat Goro, yes, but as he lay dying, he eventually gets found by Shao Kahn, and the Emperor makes him an offer basically saying, look, I'm going to make Outworld great again. You should come back to my side because I will be unstoppable and we're going to take over the whole friggin' realm. What do you say? And Goro, even though he's tired of war, even though he made a promise to Kitana that he was going to be on her side, Goro just decides, yeah, okay, I'm going to join up with you, Shao Kahn. What the hell? Goro, you traitor! So, in order to disguise the fact that Goro was killed, he put his emblem, his clothing, his mark on another disfigured Shokan, and that's why everyone thought Goro was dead, because, you know, he was wearing Goro's medallion or Goro's special armor or whatever. I don't know. That's why they thought he was dead and why he's not actually dead. Oh, and he doesn't just have Goro back under his control, he also gets Shang Tsung back under his control. Because it turns out, when Shang Tsung chose to serve under the Emperor, he made like a magic blood pact underneath the guy, and so even though he blew up in the palace, Raiden killed Shang Tsung, but his body is bound to Shao Kahn, and as long as Shao Kahn is alive, then Shang Tsung can just come back to life, or his soul will drift to Shao Kahn. I don't know. Ugh. Look, the thing you need to know about the next game in the series, Armageddon, is that it brings back every single character that's ever existed. And I mean all of them. And the game did not come with biographies for every single character. Supposedly, John Vogel and all the others wrote biographies for everybody, but they didn't have time to implement them into the game itself. And so, after the game came out, on a website, they started doling out biographies one after another, until eventually they just decided to stop doing it so that they could focus on the next Mortal Kombat game. And there are a few biographies for Armageddon that are out there in the wild, including Shang Tsung's, which explains why he's back from the dead. But other characters, there's really no explanation given. For example, Motaro is playable in Armageddon, right? But now he is no longer a centaur, he is a minotaur. Why is he a minotaur? I don't know. I genuinely don't know. The only thing you get is that when you beat the game as Motaro, his ending says that he was cursed by the Shokan. How was he cursed by the Shokan? I don't know. Apparently this happened to the entire Centaur tribe. All I know is that Shao Kahn prefers the Shokan again because Goro aligned with him after Deception. There's just a lot of gaps here. There's a lot of holes that I can't exactly answer because they brought back every single character, including obscure ones like Mocap. Mocap was a character introduced in Deadly Alliance, and he's basically a big tribute to Carlos Pesina, the guy who played Raiden in the original Mortal Kombat, who did the motion capture for Deadly Alliance and Deception, and he's literally a motion capture artist who is responsible for the motion capture of Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance. I'm not making this up. This is the lore. They also brought back the two chameleons, Chameleon with a C and Chameleon with a K, who are basically the ninjas, the male and female ninjas, whose color palette keeps swapping depending on which ability they use. Like, they can use Scorpion's Spear and Sub-Zero's Ice and Katana's Fans and Jade's, bow staff and all these different things. And Chameleon with a K is interesting because she's actually a Zaterran. She's a Zaterran just like Reptile. Even in her trilogy ending, she wants to get revenge on Shao Kahn for destroying Zaterra, which is kind of interesting, but also kind of confusing why Reptile and Chameleon have never had a connection. They never meet at any point in the lore, even though if these two got together, maybe they could bring back the Zaterran race, I don't know, that'd be kind of interesting. Chameleon with a K is exclusive to the N64 version of Mortal Kombat Trilogy, and she's also exclusive to the Nintendo Wii version of Mortal Kombat Armageddon, so I always like to think of Chameleon as a Nintendo princess. Anyway, Shao Kahn decides to take back his fortress, which has been occupied by Katana, but as it turns out, Katana is actually Melina, so the palace is handed over to him pretty easily, no problem. Meanwhile, in the Nether Realm, Onaga is bound to a rune and he can't get out and he's stuck there and everything sucks. And eventually he gets approached by the fallen Elder God Shinnok. Oh yeah, he's not dead. He's just been in hell ever since Mortal Kombat 4. And Shinnok is aware of something rather monumental. He's aware that something significant is about to happen. The fire elemental is making his move. The brothers have woken up. Armageddon is upon us. Okay, so you know how Raiden is the protector of Earthrealm? Well, Edenia has their own protector with a god named Argus. This man is married to a seeress named Delia who has visions of the future. And she anticipates some pretty horrible things.
The powerful warriors to come, the corruption of a Mortal Kombat tournament. The chain of events you foretell will lead to a conflict that will destroy us all. These combatants must be dealt with.
Basically, the end of the world is coming. And so Argus decides to come up with a plan that will neutralize all of these warriors and save the realms. And it involves his children, as well as a fire elemental known as Blaze. Yes, we're finally getting to his backstory. Blaze was created by Delia to wander the realms and monitor how close Armageddon was approaching. He was also designed to be the catalyst that would stop all the fighters for good. But it cannot do all of this alone, as Argus decides this would be a prime opportunity to test the worthiness of his children. This is where the whole thing gets kinda loopy, as Argus subdues his two sons, Taven and Dagon, imprisoning them in some Earthrealm caves to sleep forever until Blaze gives the signal to wake them up. And then, they have to go on a quest to retrieve special weapons and armor in order to prove themselves great warriors worthy of stopping the apocalypse. This way, Argus can figure out who is worthy of becoming the next protector of Edenia. What the hell is that? He makes the fate of the universe all about this competition, this game that he's manufactured, when he could easily just, I don't know, use Blaze to stop everybody when the time comes? Jeez, I'm not surprised Shao Kahn conquered this realm. Regardless, the story mode of Armageddon is from the perspective of one of these children, a man named Taven. We see him get awoken by his dragon protector Orin, and then he has to travel to all of these different temples his father has constructed in order to acquire his weapons. But because Argus didn't exactly tell his kids what was going on, Taven is completely in the dark.
These sleeping figures might be my brother and I. How long was I unconscious? What's this? It appears as if my brother and I are attacking some demon. I have no memory of that.
But of course, things go horribly wrong as an army in red proceed to attack him throughout the temple. He even discovers that the sword he was supposed to retrieve is now gone. Plus, he gets ambushed by the Black Dragon, by Sector and his Tikkunin, by Sonya Blade and the Special Forces. Even the Purple Ninja Rain has a bone to pick with him.
What?
So it is true. Delia's son has returned to claim the prize and save the realms.
It's through Armageddon that we get new insight into Rain's character, as it's revealed that he is a bastard prince. You see, Argus had an affair with an Edenian woman named Amara, and then he abandoned the baby. That child grew up to be Rain, and the kids had a superiority complex ever since. He hates the father that abandoned him, and his half-brothers Taven and Dagon even more. So yeah, Rain is technically a prince. Wait. The Purple Ninja Rain is a prince. Purple Rain Prince. Oh, Netherrealm, you cheeky bastards. We also discover that Delia's temple was taken over by the Lin Kuei, as Taven has to go through all of them to acquire his armor. He even frees Frost from her chunk of ice, in case you were wondering how that happened. After finding his mother's armor, Sub-Zero questions him on why he's here. Taven explains his strange quest, as well as the fact that he's been hunted by men in red armor. It's then that Noob Saibot and an army of wraiths attack the temple. Taven defeats both Smoke and Bihan, earning Kuai Liang's trust.
Your brother? Why did he try to kill you?
He was corrupted long ago, but now I have the chance to save him. The Lin Kuei owe you much, Taven. I will help you find the men who have been hunting you. They are called the Red Dragon, a clan of mysterious warriors. I can't help you get inside their base, but I can reveal its location.
So Taven goes to Charred Mountain, where their base resides, and he comes face to face with the organization's leader.
Taven. Dagon! You look older.
I am older. Much older than you, big brother. I formed the Red Dragon clan many ages ago.
Why would you send your clan after me?
Isn't it obvious? I intend to kill you.
What?
The prize will be mine, Taven. I will not risk losing it to you.
Hearing that the Red Dragon have found Blaze, Dagon runs away, leaving his henchman Movado to kill Taven, which of course he fails at. Taven continues running amok through the base, even freeing Kano from his prison, since the guy's been here ever since Deadly Alliance.
37.
Apparently they wanted to turn him into this half-human, half-dragon hybrid monster, because when you have access to mad science, you use it, damn it. Anywho, at the end of the base, Taven finds Karo, Dagon's dragon protector, who he locked up in chains, forcing the creature to teleport his soldiers wherever he pleases. The Red Dragon, explains how everything got all messed up. See, when Blaze was captured by the Dragon King's volcano cult, Karo believed that something had gone wrong and prematurely woke Dagon.
Dagon was unbalanced. He was outraged that he had been manipulated by your parents and demanded to know the true purpose of the quest. Whatever he learned must have disturbed him greatly. He killed them both.
Well, damn. The portal Dagon used to escape is still open, so Taven follows after and finds himself